Some breaking baseball news earlier this morning. The Mets have fired their manager, Carlos Mendoza. While the Seattle Mariners dropped their series to the Pirates yesterday. They're looking to get right with the series against the Cleveland Guardians beginning today at 4:10 p.m. Pre-game show starts at 3 p.m. on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app. Luis Castillo on the mound.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bump and Stacy
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now.
Oh, God, the Mariners have a lot of problems. We decided yesterday, Curtis and I, no one else, that the Mariners offense is the biggest problem for this team right now. So
Get an exterminator in there.
Here's what I wanted to do. We got a 4-hour show, brother. I know. We got a 4-hour show to get through today, and I don't like feeling depressed and that angry for 4 full hours.
Well, we've also got some bad Kraken news to talk about, too, today.
So now here's the deal. All of these things are important to talk about, but I'd like to, if I may be so bold, Curtis, I'd like to approach it, if everyone else is okay with it, from a point of view of what can they do now to fix something. So that's the approach that I want to start taking. So identify the issues, the things we don't like seeing, the things we're all obviously noticing, and then, okay, what are their options here? Because if one of your options is, become sellers at the deadline, I don't want to explore that one. If one
Especially
of your options
has a first-place team.
Now, what I think is, I also don't want to be too kind of like long-term here. For instance, I think that Cal Raleigh and Julio Rodriguez playing better will fix a lot. But that's not really something the Mariners can do. You know what I mean? That's not like a take control thing right now. So I want to talk about take control things right now. What can they do? So first, Curtis, the issues.
The issues is the offense right now. And I get that we have had our frustrations this year with in-game managing decisions. The bullpen has blown a few leads here or there. The piggyback situation has been a point of frustration for a lot of people. Luis Castillo himself has been an issue when he has been the starting pitcher, and today he's going to be out there starting again. But I think, Stacy, the biggest issue with this Mariners team, and I'm not just saying this because it has been the biggest issue for the last 2 weeks, it's been the biggest issue with the Mariners since opening day, and that's the offense.
Yep.
And it has not produced anywhere close to where we thought it would, and I get that the offense in Seattle is usually suppressed over the season's first couple of months. But here we are. It is summertime, and the living's easy. It is June 26th, and the last home game the Mariners played was on Sunday. The weather was beautiful. It was nearly 80 degrees, could only muster up 3 runs. They scored 1 run against the Red Sox in that series, 2 runs against the Red Sox in the other game in that series. That Orioles series that was here, beautiful weather, couldn't score more than 3 runs in any of those games. Like, it has been a sustained level of just poor performance on the offensive side of things for a while now. And I really am concerned about the ceiling of this team if this offense does not get it together, because you look at all the bats, Stacy, maybe the only guy that is playing up to expectation or beyond it, or maybe there's 2 guys. I would say Randy Arozarena playing up to expectation for sure. An 806 OPS has been worth 2.5 wins above replacement. Cole Young, I think, meeting expectation. Yeah. And then Dom Canzone probably exceeding expectations in that. But outside of those guys, like, how many of those guys were you pointing to being difference makers this year? Maybe Randy?
None. And how many of them can regularly be difference makers? Like, Dom can only do so much when he's technically part of just like a rotating group of bats in platoon.
Right. And your difference makers, Julio, Cal, Josh Naylor, have been below where I think we all thought they would be. And Julio did have that great month of May, but all in all, his month of June has not been good. Only, 2 home runs in the month of June. Josh Naylor not slugging the ball at all, only with 18 extra base hits this year. And then Cal, I mean, what more can be said? I mean, the injury obviously took its toll. The 0-for-38 stretch that he had, obviously that was going to do a lot of damage to his productivity. But, man, I mean, what a lost first half it has been for Cal.
John Morosi saying that those problems, you're right, Curtis, do start with Julio and Cal.
Cal and Julio. That when your superstars don't perform, your lineup's going to struggle. And that's exactly what the case has been. The other part is the left-right dynamic. Now, I realize they were facing a right.
Totally agree with him on that one, but I want to stick to the Cal part right now. Okay, that is a baseball insider saying, guys, yes, it is incredibly obvious. The Mariners' offensive issues start with Cal and Julio, and those two are part of the solution. You aren't going to get to a World Series by being like, well, maybe Luke Raley can love Luke Raley, but like he's not enough a constant part of a lineup to have the impact that Cal and Julio can. So let's talk about a solution. Move Cal back. You can't make you can't. Yeah. I don't look at this series against the Guardians. You know what I mean? I don't look at this series against the Guardians and go, okay, well, hopefully Cal can turn it on. And really, you can't, there is nothing that the Mariners can do or that I can do or anyone can do to just make Cal better right now. But what can you do when it comes to Cal that can give him the best chance to get right? That's the question I want to answer. I think you move him back.
I think so, too, because as we know, it's just math. When you have a guy hitting that high in the order, he's going to get the most at-bats in the game, or, since he's the number 2 hitter, he's going to get the second most at-bats in a game outside of your leadoff hitter. Is that a good thing for this Mariners team right now, for Cal Raleigh to be getting the second most at-bats of anybody on this roster just based off of reputation and what he was a year ago? I don't think that is a good spot for him to be in at the current moment in time. Maybe move him down to 5th or 6th in the lineup. Yes, he has struggled mightily this year, but he does have the threat of giving you a home run every single time he's up. I don't think that's gone away, especially because, even at his very worst this season, he has still managed to hit 8 home runs in less than 200 at-bats. But you've got to be able to protect him, and you also got to be able to make sure this lineup is playing at its very best. And J.P. Crawford has shown himself to be a very quality leadoff man, getting on base still at a 347 clip this year. Like, that'll play in the leadoff spot. I get that his batting average still is not where we want it to be at a 223 clip, but that on base percentage I look at, that's the most important thing in terms of, guys that are hitting in that leadoff spot or hitting atop the order. Yep. Maybe you move Randy up to number 2.
Or Cole Young.
Or Cole Young, one of those two guys, sure. But Cal Raleigh at the number 2 spot, I think it's time, especially now that you've got a more healthy version of your lineup.
Yeah.
Because that was something that we had talked about last week when Randy was still out. Is like, well, who else? You don't really have anybody else you can put there. But now you do. You have options. And I think it is time for Cal to maybe move down in the order in order to not really take up so many at-bats where it's just, kind of uncompetitive swings.
360 says the whole media was wrong about this team. I'm going to push back for 2 reasons. One, it's not just the media saying it. It's people in and around the team. It is players. It is other teams, right? Like, this is something that people in and around baseball, whether they're part of organizations or not, could look at this team and say, yeah, they're clearly good. I think that this is a way more interesting conversation if you assume the Mariners' ceiling is high.
Yeah.
I think it's a way more interesting conversation if you go, Cal Raleigh can be better and should be better. So what's happening? What can you do? It's a boring conversation, in my opinion, if you go, they're just not good, so they're, there's nothing you can do. Yeah. No, I like talking about baseball, and I like finding solutions. This is a nice marriage of both of those things. I don't like watching bad baseball, but I think that this conversation's important because the team is good, or should be, rather. They should be good. I don't think we were all lied to about this team's talent.
No. And to say that the whole media was wrong about this team, okay, who amongst the media or who amongst the fan base can honestly say they saw this season from Cal Raleigh coming? No one can say that. Not even Cal, not even anybody with the Mariners can say that they saw this season from Cal Raleigh coming. just as last year, no one could say they saw the season from Cal Raleigh coming, just in the complete opposite sense. But if you were out there saying, oh, Cal's only going to hit 160 at the season's midway point, he's going to spend a month on the IL.
Come collect your prize.
Like, wow, you are Nostradamus. Like, that's incredible. Like, no one saw that coming. And I'm sorry.
No, and I don't think Cal did. And I think a lot of it is mental. I think that there is a pressure that he's feeling. A 2024 Cal Raleigh was not talked about and didn't face the same pressure as Cal Raleigh after 2025. Mm-hmm. And we heard all year long during Cal Raleigh's home run chase and that historic season he had, oh, he's so great with handling pressure. And I think that's true, but there's a difference between he's great with handling pressure and he is feeling pressure he's never felt before at 29 years old.
Yeah.
This isn't a 16-year-old Julio Rodriguez that kind of grows up feeling a lot of pressure and fame. And this isn't me saying anything about Julio or where he needs to be better at all. It's making the comparison that I would wager Cal Raleigh is feeling a level of pressure at age 29 that he did not feel in his prior seasons, despite being a big leader on the team and someone who takes this very seriously and who works hard. I think moving him back is a way to relieve that. If you feel like you want your best bat to get the most ABs, I still think Cal is one of your two best bats. I still fully believe that. But it's also okay to be flexible there when a player isn't that right now. A player could maybe use, some occasional rest, maybe, a couple fewer ABs because, or a player is feeling some pressure. I think he is.
I think so too. And you mentioned just kind of like a lot is different for Cal. Last year was a season where we all knew nothing was ever going to be the same with Cal after that. Like, it was the level of fame that he reached, the level of popularity that he reached, not just here in the Northwest, but nationwide. Like, he was a household name by the end of the 2025 Major League Baseball season. People who, I had only, friends and family that live out of state and stuff, they'd be like, what's up with this big dumper guy? Like, it's like, what are you doing paying attention to Mariners baseball? You've never once asked me about the Mariners, even though that's like a big part of like my personality.
It's your brand.
Yeah, exactly.
My personality.
Yeah.
It's a big part of my personality.
Big part of my like life is following
Mariners.
this team from young childhood to now. But everything was going to be different, and how you handle that as a player, I mean, it really kind of, it's nothing you can prepare for, because just getting strapped to that rocket ship and landing amongst the level of popularity that Kyle Raleigh did a year ago, like, how do you come back from that? How do you get back to feeling like yourself after all that? Like, I've seen fame change even like the least famous people in like sports talk radio before. I've seen people go from relative obscurity to, wearing, some pretty flashy clothes. And
look at me.
Yeah.
I'm a narcissist.
But not saying you, but I've definitely seen it impact. And we're on a very small scale of fame. Like,
maybe you are.
Sure. But like, Cal Raleigh is on every bus.
Experience.
He's on every billboard. He's on every commercial. Like, that's going to change somebody, especially a guy who, as we know, was, very workmanlike, very quiet, and just not all about his game.
Both of us think Cal will figure it out. I would still move him back. That's the immediate change I would make. What I think will happen is Cal will figure it out. I truly believe that. I think he's a very good player. What I would like to see happen is to help him in the process of doing that. He is pushed back in the lineup. What's one more thing before we get to headline rewrites? Like a change you want to see immediately, where you're like, do this. I think this will help. Do it, please.
Well, it's not lineup related.
Okay.
Figure out the rotation, please. Get it to where it is 5 guys, your 5 best starting pitchers, and I think we know who the 5 best starting pitchers on this team are. And maybe that's a conversation you have over the All-Star break, which you're going to have 4 days off. You're going to have that Monday through Thursday off, so the 13th through the 16th, Mariners taking off. I imagine once that Friday comes, the 17th, when they are back out there, you're going to reset your rotation, and I think Luis Castillo probably gets moved to the bullpen at that point. I think that's the best spot for him. I think that's the best spot for the Mariners, And, maybe you are able to kind of still use him as an extra starting pitcher, especially in those stretches of the season where you're going to play like 17 games in 17 days. But I think right now you got to go with your 5 best for how tight this American League West race is. You're trailing, or you're only up a game and a half on 3 teams right now: the Astros, A's, and Rangers. So it's tight.
Let's get back to that issue, just because I think it deserves a bit more time, at 11:45. So 11:45, we'll revisit a decision to be made with that rotation. Right now, let's get to headline rewrites.
Extra, extra, real
Headline rewrites.
We must make headlines.
The real story behind the headlines in today's news.
Powered by Bay Alarm Security Services.
With Bump and Stacy.
Headline number 1, we're going to uplift everybody's spirits with this one. Dallas Stars left winger Jason Robertson reportedly turned down an 8-year, $120 million extension offer from the Kraken and nixed a trade that would have sent him to Seattle. What's the real headline?
Seattle couldn't land a star, but they should keep shooting for the moon.
Shoot or shoot.
Yeah.
Something's got to hit. But do you think this is something bigger going on here with the Kraken organization, or is this just kind of isolated to him and saying, I don't want to play there?
My gut reaction was that there's something bigger in terms of, probably a little bit of both. That's the boring answer. But my mind did immediately go to, hey, I think that it says something about the Kraken that they were offering him $1 million more per year than he wants from Dallas. If he's looking for, let's say, like 14 from Dallas, and Seattle's going, we'll raise you that. We'll give you, this is a blockbuster deal and a blockbuster contract, $15 million a year. Let's do it. And it's a no. It's not just about, I saw some people saying this, and you were saying this too. It's not just about a millionaire's tax. I don't think it's that simple. I think it's about where Seattle is as a franchise right now. Now, that doesn't have to be the end of the world. In fact, coming up in 15 minutes, we're talking with the Daily Faceoff's Jeff Marek about, like, well, where does Seattle go from here? Like, what did it say about the Kraken? Where do they go from here? How do you not run into this again? There's probably a little bit here that doesn't have something to do with the Kraken and is more about, like, loving it there. But what did you think? I mean, what was your reaction? You were passionate about this earlier.
I was, and I think this does speak to kind of where the Kraken are in terms of the perception amongst star players league-wide, where he was offered an 8-year deal. He's going into his age 27 season, which is his prime athletic years. And looking at where the Kraken are, I honestly don't see the Kraken in any kind of Stanley Cup hunt for the next 3 or 4 years at least. That would put Robertson around age 30, midway point of that contract, kind of looking around being like, I haven't accomplished anything that I want to accomplish here. Like, I don't blame him for wanting to look at which team can get him a title. And it does sound a lot like he wants to return to Dallas. Like, he doesn't want to get moved, but I think Dallas is like, financially, I don't know if we're going to be able to make it work. Like, we want to cash in on this asset if we can, and if there's a taker out there. Seattle also wasn't the only team that Robertson nixed a trade to. It sounds like St. Louis, the Blues, were another team that he didn't want to go to. But obviously here in Seattle, it stings a lot more, especially because, like, this was maybe the best chance the Kraken have had so far to landing a star-level player. I mean, 45 goals last year is a ridiculous number. He's done it 3 times in his career already. Like, that stings, especially for a team that has been just desperately needing an influx of talent.
If you are wondering where the Kraken go from here, then you want to listen at 10:30. What's next?
Headline rewrites.
Headline number 2, the U.S. men's national team lost a heartbreaker last night, 3-2 to Turkey in the 98th minute, but they did win their World Cup group. What's the real headline?
And that's the only Turkey we're pardoning this year.
That's right.
That's it. No more.
Every other turkey's on notice. Keep your head on a swivel.
That was the kindest thing that we're going to do. We pardon a turkey every year. We just did it a little early.
I was impressed with the United States performance because they were playing most of their backups last night because they were trying to get rid of the yellow card situation that they had with like 4 or 5 guys in their starting lineup. Would have been really cool to have gone through group play undefeated.
Yeah.
Hang the banner.
Well, because now that they've already cemented a spot advancing to the knockout stage, there's kind of this like, well, what's next? You know what I mean? Like,
right.
It will not take much for me to start talking about the Mariners. It's like they're going to win a World Series. Like, sometimes you just need a little bit of encouragement to have the bar get so much higher than where it was.
I believe they are scheduled to face Bosnia and Herzegovina in the knockout round. I think if everything kind of stands pat, which we saw Bosnia here, a couple days ago. They got quite the crowd. That game would be played at San Francisco Bay Area Stadium, Levi's Stadium, which that stadium, outside of winning a Super Bowl there, doesn't have a lot of pizzazz, doesn't have a lot of energy pulsing through it. I mean, they've got like actual energy, like electrical waves pulsing through it, but not like from the fans.
Look, I'll say this. U.S. men's national team in this World Cup undefeated in Seattle.
They're undefeated in Seattle as an entire program, 7-0.
As an entire program, undefeated in Seattle,
If they win that knockout stage game in San Francisco, then they would return here on, July 6th?
I wouldn't mess with science.
I mean, it's proven.
You play here, you win.
You can't lose here.
Headline rewrites.
Headline 3, after being fired last year by Garfield High School following allegations of recruiting violations, Brandon Roy is being rehired by Garfield to be their boys' head basketball coach. What's the real headline?
I mean, what are rules anyways?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Ain't no thing.
Not to
Ain't
me.
no impermissible benefits.
Not at all.
He was just
Not
trying
at
to
all.
pay a kid under the table like $2,000 and pay for his driver's ed. Kid from Auburn Riverside, which is nowhere near Garfield High School. I lived by Auburn Riverside.
I love the idea of paying for a driver's ed. It's just like...
That's such a high school impermissible benefit.
It is.
I'll pay your library card, or I'll pay your overdue library books.
Something about it is funny to me.
I'll put $100 on your meal money.
You know what? How offended do you get by stuff like this? Because I went to a high school where a lot of people that lived within my school district lines did not play for my high school. And so to me, I'm like, isn't this kind of always what happened? I mean, and I went to high school a long time ago.
I mean, they do allow flexible enrollment, but I don't like it when they have to like fudge a kid's address or like use a relative's address that lives within the district, even though the kid is not going to be living at that residence. Like, that's a little shady to me. I've always found it cool when like the local high schools are able to build something really cool with kids in their own backyard rather than having to go out and recruit, especially a public high school. Yeah. I get it for private high schools. Like, you're not going to be getting a lot of kids in your own geographic footprint, but public high schools, that's a little messy.
That's fair. I can see that point.
Yeah.
The Kraken got a wake-up call last night, but will they answer it? Daily Faceoff's Jeff Marek joins us next. You're listening to Bump and Stacy on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Have you downloaded the Seattle Sports app?
We're going to have a challenge right here.
What are you waiting for?
Listen to this.
Every pitch.
Here comes the 3-2.
Every game.
Swung on and missed. Got him.
One app for free.
How about that, folks?
The Seattle Sports app. Every game.
Julio racing back.
Right in the palm of your hands.
Makes a leap and makes the catch.
Plus the latest Mariners news, insider access, video, and podcasts.
They got it. Wow.
The Seattle Sports app.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here with my buddy Shannon O'Kelly from IRG Physical and Hand Therapy. Shannon, I get so used to hearing our pro teams in town talk about talent acquisition, being the lifeblood of their teams. At IRG, how important is talent acquisition for you?
Brock, talent acquisition is everything. Here at IRG, we are looking for those people that want to be the best and the brightest. You know, our strength here at IRG is what I call our human capital. And our clinicians here at IRG are great, but we expect greatness. We provide them with ample mentorship opportunities, continuing education, advanced certification payment, in addition to providing Con Ed. When they receive advanced certifications, we also increase their base salary because they've improved themselves as a professional. They've improved their ability to provide great care, and that's what it's all about here at IRG. Great care. We want the best and brightest.
With over 40 convenient locations, IRG is in your neighborhood. Find all the details at irgpt.com.
Pests and poor insulation have something in common. One call to Eastside Exterminators takes care of both. For more than 50 years, families across Western Washington have trusted Eastside Exterminators to eliminate pests for good and protect homes from crawl space to attic. With dedicated insulation services and the state's only smart pest detection technology. From Everett to Federal Way, one call handles it all. 425-482-2271 or visit eastsideexterminators.com. Eastside Exterminators, family first pest control.
Summer is here and it's time to break through your weight loss frustrations. Hey, it's Dr. Coogan with Eastside Weight Loss, and we have a proven system that can help you lose 20 to 30 pounds or more in just 8 weeks. Whether you need a nutrition plan to complement your GLP injections, or you're like many of our clients who don't want to worry about ongoing monthly costs, giving yourself shots, or uncomfortable side effects. Either way, our program provides the support, accountability, and structured nutrition plan so you can achieve your results for the long term. Schedule your free phone consult at eastsideweightlossklinik.com.
Look, this plan does work. It's Mike Salk here, and I used Eastside Weight Loss Clinic to lose 35 pounds. Just recently, I heard about one of our listeners who lost 40 pounds. How about that? The plan will teach you lifelong habits to continue eating the food you love while losing weight.
We've helped over 4,000 people lose 20 to 30 pounds or more in just 8 weeks. Come to our clinic in Kirkland or do the program remotely from anywhere you live. Schedule your free phone consultation online at eastsideweightlossklinik.com.
Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
Hey there, Dawn Riling from Olympic Hot Tub with exciting news. Our mid-year clearance event is on. You'll score big savings on all in-stock saltwater hot tubs and fabulous saunas. Plus, deep discounts on newly released floor model swim spas. These deals are incredible. But don't wait. Our mid-year clearance ends June 30th. OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
Olympic Hot Tub. Your old water heater's starting to peter. DayandNight.net. Day and Night has $150 off installation of any new water heater, including tankless, backed by a free lifetime warranty.
Hi, I'm Bruce. When your old water heater leaks or fails, the damage could be catastrophic. Whether you need an emergency replacement or you're planning ahead before it leaks, give us a call and we'll help you get into hot water again.
Get $150 off installation of any new water heater. DayandNight.net.
Heading outdoors or on the water this weekend? Check in with Joey and Nelly on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Why settle for what's available when you can choose exactly what you want? At Mazda of Everett, the West Coast's largest Mazda dealer, you'll find over 190 new Mazda CX-5s in stock, available with 0% interest for 36 months on approved credit. We have every color, model, and feature, and always at the Mazda of Everett price. Shop Mazda of Everett on Highway 99 in Everett or online at MazdaofEverett.com. Based on Mazda USA 2025 sales numbers.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $3 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Find the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief today for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Hey, baseball fans, Rick Riz here. I'm excited to introduce you to my good friend Keith Dashafy, owner of Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Keith?
Thanks, Rick. Improve your play with 25% off windows and doors or 12 months, no interest, and no payments. We're also giving back to the community with teams. Upgrade your home today at PellaPNW.com.
That's fantastic, Keith. Don't wait. Schedule your free appointment today at PellaPNW.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Daily Faceoff's Jeff Marek joining us right now. And Jeff, Curtis and I have been talking a lot about ways that the Seattle Kraken can stop being just kind of like a fun novelty and be a far more competitive contender. And one of the things that my co-host today has constantly said, to his credit, is you got to take big swings. So when we initially heard that, oh my God, the Kraken, we're going to make this blockbuster trade for Jason Robertson, you're thinking, this is it. This is exactly what you need to be doing.
We've done it.
We've done it. It didn't work out. So tell fans, tell listeners what happened and why you think it happened.
Well, quite bluntly, Jason Robertson wasn't interested in that deal in Seattle. The St. Louis Blues had offered a massive package as well. He wasn't interested in playing for the St. Louis Blues. It's still widely believed that his preferred destination is Dallas, but he wants to stay in Dallas at his number, and that's 14. That's 14 million times 8, and whatever bonus structure they can work out. I will say one thing, because I've been thinking a lot, not just lately, but the entire season, about the Seattle Kraken, because it is such a unique team and a unique market in the NHL. I think if I'm a Kraken fan and I'm looking at not just Jason Robertson, but before that, Artemi Panarin, Robert Thomas as well. The one thing that we see out of Jason Botterill as the general manager of this team, to Curtis's point, big swings. And the main criticism that I've always had about Seattle was this is a team that's always just tried to be safe and hit singles. And when you're too safe for too long and just want to get on base by hitting singles, you find yourself with a roster where everybody's kind of out of place and everybody is playing one level higher than they should play. And that goes for forwards and that goes for defensemen as well. At least now with Botterill as the general manager, and I don't think he's done with big swings either. As a matter of fact, given what just happened with Robertson, I'm going to go ahead and guess that Jason Botterill is probably doubling down, trying to land the big one or big ones this draft weekend. At least now the Seattle Kraken are in the business of taking big swings. And I'll give you one too. I know I'm rambling here a little bit, but I want to make sure that I get all this in. I want to make sure I get all this in. If you're a Kraken fan right now, it may seem like a small deal, but the Mackie Samoskevich deal is a lot bigger in philosophy and in theory than people think, because this is the Seattle Kraken looking at someone and saying, we're making a move for this player. Now, of course, we all understand University of Michigan and Matty Beniers and all of that does add up. But by making the move for Mackie Samoskevich, they're saying, we believe there's more there and we can work with them to get that out. So they're making a trade, not just based on how they feel about this player today, but also how they feel or what they feel this player can turn into. That's like an optimism for the future, right? Like if they believe, Alexandra Mandrycky, the assistant general manager, handles a lot of the analytics for the team. And if, she's of the belief that there is more there, then that's a really good sign, because that's like not just trying to hit a single. That's like trying to hit one out of the park here. And good teams find themselves in situations where they make what seems like a small deal at the time that can one day turn into a massive deal for the organization. So if I'm a Kraken fan, it kind of sucks missing out on Robertson. I get it. Sucked missing out on Artemi Panarin. But at least you have a general manager right now who's in there, who's swinging for the fence. I think that's a positive message for Seattle.
Jeff, do you think, because now you mentioned the Artemi Panarin trade that fell through at the deadline, he didn't want to sign an extension here. Robertson didn't want to sign an extension here. Are those just kind of two isolated players that feel that way, or is that maybe kind of a common thought that a lot of players across the league share about playing in Seattle?
I haven't heard it, across the NHL. Like, I think that players make decisions for a lot of different reasons. And we all know that, no taxes is one of them. And that is changing in Washington State. That you guys know that a lot better than I do. People make decisions in a salary cap world when the money is all the same. And this is a triple cap league. You make decisions based on more than just how much money can I make. There's, lifestyle issues, temperature issues, not just state, but also property tax issues. I was talking to someone about that this morning. So I haven't heard it as a common theme around the NHL. I kind of look at these two situations as just completely completely unique situations. And look, like the Jason Robertson thing, I don't think it's specific to Seattle. I think that there are probably other places that have approached Dallas about making a move, and would Robertson re-up? And, obviously the answer from the Robertson camp is no. Like, this isn't unique to Seattle. I think, again, like, his preferred destination is Dallas. He just wants to be in Dallas on his own terms.
You have a lot of praise for Jason Botterill, and I think it's going to be so encouraging, and is so encouraging for so many people, including myself, frankly, to hear, right? Because, we were lamenting a risk-averse group led by Ron Francis. I think that my fear was, okay, well, what if Jason Botterill is still held back? Like, what if the risk-averse part wasn't just Ron, but also a bigger, part of the group? But tell me what you really love about his approach, and why you think that this is still a time when Kraken fans can be really excited about those future big swings.
I don't want to be frivolous about the first thing that you mentioned there, Stacey, because I think it's really important. The Seattle Kraken, in their inception here, have kind of looked like a team that has had decisions made by a lot of different people all at the same time. And I think that's why, like the way that I've always just phrased is like hit for singles. I think that's how you've ended up. So I think you really hit on something really important here, Stacey. And I don't want your listeners to just sort of shrug that off, because I think that's an important point. Botterill is different here. Botterill is in and understands that, you have a lot of players that are playing out of place right now, and understands that they have a lot of assets that other teams want. Like, would it surprise anybody if they move, their top 10 pick tonight? Wouldn't surprise me at all. Would it surprise anybody if it's, they make a move with Shane Wright or Jake O'Brien or Barclay Catton, like any of these types of players? I don't think it would surprise anybody. Where a lot of conservative teams would just take a wait-and-see approach, I think Seattle understands, A, they're in a very competitive division. They have a lot of good players, but they need to start turning their, as I refer to them, green bananas into something that's already ripe. And they need to get players slotted correctly, and Jason Botterill very much understands that. Like, put it this way, if you're a Kraken fan right now, you have a general manager that's not content just to let the bananas ripen on their own. He wants to move this forward quicker, and there is a stockpile of picks and prospects that he's not going to be shy about using to get there.
Jeff, you mentioned about ripening these bananas as quickly as possible, so it doesn't look like Jason Robertson's going to be coming here anytime soon.
What a bad analogy. I got to get better analogies.
You know what?
Like,
you didn't hear me, but I was here nodding like, yeah. Worked for us.
Just inject as many hormones into these bananas as possible.
I'm over here in the background like, that part, Jeff.
Oh, geez.
But,
okay.
Jeff, when you kind of scan the trade market right now, obviously it looks like Jason Robertson's not a possibility. Is there any other names out there that you think the Kraken should take a big swing at?
Oh boy, that's a great question. I mean, the interesting thing about right now is like there's a lot of names that are wiggling free that we've never heard before, right? Like name like who saw Brady? I mean, we all thought that eventually Brady Tkachuk would go, but we didn't think that it was going to be last weekend. And then, Brady Tkachuk goes. And, the Dylan Larkin trade request, I think, caught a lot of people off guard as well. Now I think we're waiting to see what happens with Columbus and Zach Werenski. So I think we're in a situation right now, and I'm not trying to dodge the question. Really, I'm not. We don't know what the entire landscape is right now. Kirill Marchenko of the Columbus Blue Jackets, his name is very much out there as well. Here's another situation. If the Winnipeg Jets end up moving Connor Hellebuck, as we all expect, gold medal netminder for Team USA at the Olympics, two-time Vezina Trophy winner, Hart Trophy winner, etc. If they move him, does someone like Mark Scheifele say, you know what, we've just lost, the best goaltender in the NHL. Maybe it's time that I look somewhere else to try to win my Stanley Cup. Like right now, more so than I can even recall ever, more big names are moving. So I don't know that there's one that I could pinpoint. Like perfect scenario, and again, not reporting this, I'm just putting two and two together because it fits. And I don't even know if, Seattle would be on his no trade or if the Islanders would even look to move him. But I've always looked at Matthew Barzal and said, look, not only did he play his junior hockey in Seattle, but he'd be a great fit for the Seattle Kraken in the middle, right-hand shot, local, he grew up in Vancouver, like relatively local guy. That one could be a fit. Again, not reporting that, but that's just like the kind of player I think that Jason Botterill is looking at right now.
Daily Faceoffs, Jeff Marek. Also, make sure you're checking out The Sheet with Jeff Marek, wherever you get your podcast. Rate, review, subscribe. A wonderful guest that we enjoy having on, but I hope we're having you on soon, not just because of that, Jeff, but because we're going to be able to ask you about someone they signed. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Hey, man, Stacey, they're swinging. Like, like the bat's not on the shoulder. They're not looking for walks.
I love it.
Like, they're not looking for walks to get on base. Like, again, like I'll say it again for Kraken fans. You have a general manager who right now is being very aggressive, and considering how public everything was with the Robertson situation, I'm guessing that Botterill's double downing more so than ever to try to bring in a big name here to Seattle.
You know what? As the home of Cal Raleigh, we love home runs, so we can get behind that. Thanks, Jeff. Have a good one.
Thanks, Stacey. Thanks, Curtis. You guys be well.
Bye. All right, coming up next, I have an off-the-wall suggestion about how the Mariners should handle their Rob Refsnyder problem.
Think you know the Mariners? Not if you aren't subscribed to the Daily Mariners newsletter from Seattle Sports.
That's what they've been waiting for.
The latest Mariners news and injury updates, exclusives from Mariners insider Shannon Dreyer.
You look at the pieces and how it works.
Plus the best takes and breakdowns from your favorite Seattle sports hosts and contributors.
The Mariners seem to be trying to build something that I think is a little bit more sustainable.
The Daily Mariners newsletter.
Monster solo home run.
Subscribe at seattlesports.com/newsletter.
The warm weather has me thinking about summer plans. Stacey here to add one more thing to the top of your list. Book a demo and check out the brand new all-electric wake boat from ARC. I got to ride in the brand new ARC Sport. It's a luxury EV, but on the water. Quiet, powerful, easy to operate, and low maintenance because it's all electric. As soon as you see it coming, you know it's different. It doesn't make any noise. There's no loud engine, no gas fumes. You hop aboard, immediately feel very important because there's luxury finishes. It's clean, tech throughout. Driving it is smooth. It has that impressive kick you expect from an EV. Charging it is also very easy. And yes, I asked. I had to make sure. They said they've never had an issue finding chargers. I was curious. Not paying for gas is a huge plus. Book a free demo and see it for yourself. You're going to come away impressed, I promise. They're doing demos in Lake Union, Lake Washington, and Lake Sammamish. Honestly, if I could drive one of these to work, I would. So schedule your demo. Again, it's free at arcboats.com/demo. That's arcboats.com/demo.
The idea of push starting a boat just doesn't seem right to us here at Pacific Power Batteries. A marine battery should just plain work every time. Let us help you with selecting the right type of marine battery. Deep cycle, starting battery, AGM, or even lithium battery. You can start with our helpful hints on our website or just stop by and talk with us. Don't worry, you don't need to be a Marine to buy a battery from us. Get it? Marine batteries? Pacific Power Batteries. Come into a business with a soul.
Summer's supposed to be fun. When the kids are home all day, the groceries, they add up fast. G. Scott here with a quick heads up from Safeway. There's a program called Sunbucks that gives qualifying families $120 per child for summer groceries. Some families are signed up automatically and will get a card in the mail. Others need to apply. Take a minute to check. It could really help put food on the table for your family. Head to freesummermeals.org to find out more. That's freesummermeals.org.
From whiplash to herniated discs, there are a few car accident injuries we've all heard of. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains that even the most common injuries differ from one another.
Pre-existing conditions, health history, beginning of treatment. There are hundreds of factors that make every person and every injury unique. While these variables aid medical treatment, the strongest case recoveries must also take them into account.
Could you explain a little bit more?
Our team at Pendergast Law is obsessed with turning over every stone to differentiate each case. This requires thorough investigation, diligent listening, and relentless research. We never pursue cases with a one-size-fits-all approach. We built our success by treating every injury and every case with the individualized attention our clients need and deserve.
Pendergast Law's individualized approach to even the most common injuries makes the difference in case outcomes. It's another reason why I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
Explore the American Supercar and British Motorcycle exhibits at LeMay, America's Car Museum. Coming up in July, First Responders Appreciation Day, drive-in movie night, cars and coffee, cruise-in, and more. Dates and tickets at americascarmuseum.org.
The best safety feature on any machine is a well-trained operator. With online, hands-on, in-class, and blended options, Levitt Training helps your team stay safe, certified, and confident on the job. Book your training today. Stack it, reach it, lift it, Levitt.
Heading outdoors or on the water this weekend? Check in with Joey and Nelly on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Progressive knows you could have easily taken the freeway, but you took the scenic route to see a waterfall and an oddly busy boiled peanut stand. Discovering the unexpected is exactly why you bought an RV, so protect it with a bundle from Progressive. Because although you may be 3 hours behind schedule, you're 6 jars of jam richer and possibly enrolled in a butter churning workshop. Switch to Progressive and protect your RV, boat, or motorcycle by bundling with your home and auto insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Meet Lee Platts, a renter whose possessions fill not only her apartment, but also the darkest corners of a mini storage unit. A land of both truth and fiction. Truth, everything inside is protected by Progressive. Fiction, one day Lee will fit into her clothes from senior year of high school. Renters, discover coverage for what you love and what you can't get rid of in Progressive's Protection Zone. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-330-8323 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-330-8323. That's 800-330-8323. What do you have to lose? Call 800-330-8323. Again, 800-330-8323.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you are listening to Bump Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Coming up in 15 minutes, the latest from ESPN's Jesse Rogers, an outsider's perspective on what's happening with the Seattle Mariners. We also have a lot of questions about what's happening with those CBA negotiations and what it means for the rest of the league. Before we get to that, Rob Refsnyder's inability to hit lefties is a problem. And, you know, Curtis, sometimes I feel like I'm piling on. And I do want to say, like, clearly none of this is personal. I'm sure Rob is a nice guy. And no one needs to be like, I hate that guy.
He's an Arizona Wildcat.
Of course.
I have nothing but respect for him. Bear down.
And he was great with Boston, which is why it's so confusing. Now, I think there's also two schools of thought before we even begin this. There are people that are like, yeah, I didn't want him to be here because I already don't like platoons. Fine. Sure. But if that's the approach Seattle's going to take, I could see why they'd look at Rob and think that would help them. So this is where they are now. Let's look at the reality of it. My automatic reaction is you got to stop putting him out there. It's not working. You have bases loaded, leaving Luke Raley in there earlier, by the way,
right,
to hit a lefty.
And he got a hit.
And he rewarded you for that patience. And then taking him out later, and strictly for that lineup, because you didn't leave Rob in the outfield, you put Robles out and right. So it was strictly for that matchup. Going to that over and over and over again is a stubbornness that is not paying off. And Curtis, sometimes stubbornness does pay off in sports. Baseball, football, elsewhere. Like sometimes you're kind of supposed to be stubborn to have something pay off. And there's other times when it only hurts you. And that's what I feel like the stubbornness with Rob Refsnyder is doing right now. So my automatic solution was All right, if you're not going to get rid of him, right? If you're not going to if you're not going to DFA him, if you're the team and you're like, $6 million, we feel guilty, then put him on IL. He's not right. Something's not working here. He's talked about a knee injury. Something isn't okay. I'm guessing he could probably use a mental break. Put him on the IL. Just don't make him an option right now because it's not a good option. However, I was telling a friend about this the other day, and he was like, yeah, I mean, I hear what you're saying, but if I may be so bold. And he said, what if you just, like, run him into the ground? And think about it philosophically. It's the same principle.
Either you break him or you fix him.
Yeah, think of it this way.
Yeah.
Doing nothing is the worst possible thing you could do.
True.
Having it exactly what it is, where you're putting him out there in these big pinch hit moments, is not paying off. It is not working. I don't think it will. So either you stop or you lean in and you give him more opportunities. And I don't mean, hey, you had opportunities in a series against Boston when they rolled out 3 lefties. I mean, he's playing as often as you can.
Well, and with a guy who has struggled the way he has, you mentioned putting him in all these high leverage spots. Like, I can't imagine that is a great environment for a guy who is clearly slumping right now to kind of rid himself of those struggles when the moment is as big as it could possibly be.
Yeah, we're putting in a guy who's not really seeing a ton of pitches and is in his own head. Have him go out there with bases loaded.
You got it, Rob. Let's do it. But no, I think the best route possible for what to do with Refsnyder is doing something. Like, you can't just kind of be like, the situation will take care of itself. We'll just keep doing what we're doing. No, there's got to be something different done. To me, just looking at his splits on home and road is where I want to look at him right now. At home, I mean, Rob Refsnyder has been as brutal as you could be. 4 hits in 58 at-bats, an .069 batting average in Seattle, .097 on base, .217 OPS. He can't hit in Seattle. Like, at least through the first 63 plate appearances he has had,
which is a pretty good
here
sample
in
size.
Seattle. You look at his road numbers, it's kind of in line with what he has been as a hitter. .227 batting average, a .340 on base, a .703 OPS, 2 home runs, 6 runs driven in 53 at-bats. It's weird. Like, that, if Rob Refsnyder's road numbers were what they were for both home and away, I think that could be palatable. I think people wouldn't have such an issue with what Rob Refsnyder has been this year. The problem is that guy cannot hit at home at all. So I'm wondering, like, do you try to limit his at-bats at home? What do you do? Like, for somebody that can't really figure out T-Mobile Park, like, that's going to be tough because that's where half your games are being played. You can't just have a guy on your roster and be like, we're not playing him at home. But
that's what even more makes me think it's a mental thing.
It could be.
I know it's not a hitter-friendly park, but it's not like you're putting the ball in the air.
Right.
It's falling short.
And I kind of wonder if it's like, the issues that Teoscar Hernandez has talked about here in Seattle a lot, where it's hard to hit or hard to see the pitch because of the angle of the batter's eye. I get that, that's an excuse that people have grown so tired of, but Mitch Garver struggled a lot the way that Rob Refsnyder has here, before coming to Seattle. I think Mitch Garver was like 0 for 30 something in his career at T-Mobile Park before signing with the Mariners. Who could have foreseen the struggles that Mitch Garver was going to have here based off of that, pretty long track record of struggle prior to signing. But, that to me, I mean, that jumps out at me right now as Refsnyder having a really hard time specifically at home.
Is the answer then to give him more ABs at home, which I was intrigued by as just a philosophical debate.
Get his vision adjusted to what he's seeing.
I'll throw this your way only because we're heading into the final minute here. If that's an answer you're willing to entertain, and again, I thought it was interesting. It wasn't my opinion. I thought it was an interesting argument.
Right.
If that's one we're willing to entertain, was that at the expense of Dom Canzone, who's been
It would have
performing?
to be, or like Luke Raley, one of those two guys. And the power that both of those guys have given you this season has been so important to what the Mariners want to do this year. I don't know if you can risk taking either of those guys out of the lineup for a longer stretch than what you're doing right now. Maybe there is an instance where, you start Refsnyder over Luke Raley because Raley's bat has cooled off a lot since April. Not to say that he's a bad to have in your lineup, but he is not hitting, over 1,000 OPS anymore. I think he's slightly under 800 in terms of his OPS right now, which is still pretty good. It's one of the highest OPSs on the team.
He's Luke Rayleigh. He's not quite Nuke Rayleigh anymore.
He's looking like what his numbers are over the course of his entire career. But, I mean, if you did want to get Refsnyder in the lineup more, maybe that's an option. But I'm looking at it as like something's got to get fixed at home because that's what's really, really hurting Refsnyder's overall stats.
Either way, I think both of us would love to see them make some kind of decision there. You cannot just keep it as it is. It is not working, and the stubbornness isn't paying off. Today's pitching matchup brought to you by Eastside Exterminators. It's Luis Castillo against Cleveland's Joey Cantillo. I like the sound of that matchup.
Just one letter difference.
It's now this is not anything about Luis or Joey. It's just purely name base. I dig it. You're listening to Bump and Stacy, Curtis Rogers, and for Michael Bumpus on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app. Latest on the Mariners and CBA negotiations with ESPN's Jesse Rogers next.
Have you downloaded the Seattle Sports app?
We're going to have a challenge right here.
What are you waiting for?
Listen to this.
Every pitch.
Here comes the 3-2.
Every game.
Swung on and missed. Got him.
One app for free.
How about that, folks?
The Seattle Sports app. Every game.
Julio racing back.
Right in the palm of your hands.
Makes a leap and makes the catch.
Plus the latest Mariners news, insider access, video, and podcasts.
They got it. Wow.
The Seattle Sports app.
We live in one of the most beautiful places on earth, and owning your own deck is a great way to enjoy it. But finding the right decking solution can be overwhelming. That's why all 9 of our Puget Sound locations offer decking showrooms so you can get your hands and toes on the more than 60 decking options we carry. So if you have any questions about building, maintaining, or repairing your deck, contact me personally. Mike Dunn at DunnLumber.com.
TimberTech Vintage Collection Decking. On sale now at Dunn Lumber.
People want to do business with someone they can trust, not be a car salesman, then they feel more comfortable with you, and the experience is better on both sides.
Lee Johnson Auto Family, the LJ way.
I had a young woman who was on a new SUV, and she had attachments to her old car because it was her first car, and she was very fiscally responsible. It was almost making her sick. The best path at that point was to let's stop for the night, and you go home and take a breath. She came back in the morning and bought the car. She was way happier.
The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto Family.
It's a fact. When your eyes work correctly, light focuses through both your cornea and your lens to give you high-quality vision. Hi, it's Dr. Kopstein from K2 Vision. Here's another fact. As we near age 50, we begin to lose the quality and function of our natural lens. That's when we start to reach for reading glasses and contemplate those cataracts on the horizon, typically in our 70s or later, but inevitable if we get old enough. Fortunately, K2 Vision has the advanced permanent solution for both, refractive lens exchange, or RLE. K2 Vision RLE is a quick, painless procedure that restores distance and near vision permanently. Plus, another thing is permanent. You will never develop a cataract. After over 20 years replacing over 100,000 failing lenses, we will help you determine when it's your right time for RLE.
Schedule your free Zoom consult today at K2VisionRLE.com. K2 Vision RLE. No readers, glasses, contacts, or cataracts.
I'm Bradley Johnson with 1-800-DUI-AWAY, and I want to wish you a happy Independence Day. The 4th of July is my favorite. It's about family, gratitude, patriotism, and amazing exploding lights in the sky. Perhaps I love it most because it's called Independence Day. I love to fight for my clients' independence. Your right to drive, to provide for your family, your right to do stuff. You feel liberty most when you lose it. Remember buying a box of bottle rockets and salute shells with nothing more than a "have fun, kids"? Well, things have changed since then, including the consequences of a DUI. We're your safe and sane solution to keep freedom ringing. Call 1-800-DUI-AWAY or go to 1-800-DUI-AWAY.com. Red, white, and blue are the colors of freedom, unless they're flashing behind you. 1-800-DUI-AWAY.
1-800-DUI-AWAY. Hey, it's Mike Salk here. And summer in Western Washington, you know, it means trips to the beach, summer barbecues, little golf, that vacation maybe you've been looking forward to. Well, when you take those pictures this summer, don't you want to look and feel your very best? Eastside Weight Loss Clinic can help, and trust me, you can do this so fast. I lost 15 pounds just in the first 2 weeks, 35 pounds after 8 weeks. How about that? There's time, so what are you waiting for? Schedule a 15-minute, no-obligation consultation right now at eastsideweightlossclinic.com. Here's what to expect. Safe, healthy, sustainable weight loss, no exercise, no pills, no injections, no surgery. You're eating all real food that you buy at the grocery store. You will lose weight and you will look and feel your very best. That feeling, it's just on the other end of your 15-minute consult. What's the secret? You'll find out in only 15 minutes with Eastside Weight Loss Clinic. Schedule your quick intro today at eastsideweightlossclinic.com. That's eastsideweightlossclinic.com. Dr. Ryan Coogan, DC. Results may vary.
Step inside and let the excitement take you places. This is Muckleshoot Casino Resort, the ultimate spot for action that reaches incredible heights, luxury that knows no bounds, and live entertainment that always thrills. It's all at one incredible destination. So when you look for the best, look nowhere else. Muckleshoot Casino Resort, the biggest and best in the Northwest.
Muckleshoot. Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Some breaking baseball news earlier this morning. The Mets have fired their manager, Carlos Mendoza. Meanwhile, the Seattle Mariners dropped their series to the Pirates yesterday. They're looking to get right with the series against the Cleveland Guardians, beginning today at 4:10 p.m. Pre-game show starts at 3 p.m. on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app. Luis Castillo on the mound.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. Joined now by ESPN's Jesse Rogers. And Jesse, we know you've got a lot of stuff to cover with CBA negotiations, and we have a ton of questions about it. But we are going to start, given that it's where we've spent most of our day, with the Seattle Mariners as just kind of, hey, outsider perspective on where they are right now. I'll let you know, we're pretty down bad here. You got a horrible series against the Red Sox, not a great series against the Pirates, in a season with sky-high expectations. Everyone has underperformed. So I kind of wanted to check in and see, from the outside looking in, what do you see? How are you feeling about this team?
Very surprised by where they are. I mean, that AL West is wide open to just steamroll through it if you have a decent team. And we all thought Seattle did, coming off of last year's playoff run. Houston's down. The A's are kind of trying to get there. Texas is just, they can't really perform much at home, and the Angels are the Angels. Like, this is Seattle's division to lose, and it still might be. And they still might run away with it. But the fact that they have it and they're just 500 just doesn't sit well, I imagine. And even if they do win the division, they may not get the bye, and that's very coveted. But halfway, through the season, long way to go still. They can certainly put it together. It's kind of little bit of everything, right? I heard Brian Wu the other day, like some pitching issues. He's one of them. Obviously, you probably dissected Raleigh's issues as well, but there's, the offense just okay. They've always had some issues at home in that ballpark, right? Putting it all together outside of last year when Raleigh put those numbers up. So I can't put my finger on it. It just feels like a little bit of everything, and they haven't gone on like a real run. And hence the 500 record. So maybe not surprising if you kind of work backwards from the 500 record. Usually it's a little bit of everything. It's not necessarily one area. And that's kind of my take from 30,000 feet. It just hasn't felt right all year. And I mean, Raleigh kind of is the representative of it if you can encapsulate it in one person.
Well, and Jesse, everybody that we've talked to in baseball mentions, how slow the Mariners start has gotten off to. But if you look at the rest of the American League, they're not the only ones that have had a rough start to the year. Really, only the Yankees have played up to expectations in the AL. When you look at the American League and how good the Yankees have looked here to start the season, do the Mariners pose the best threat to them at full strength, or is there another team that you look at and say, I think when these guys are at their best, they can give the Yankees the biggest challenge?
Well, I think it's a great question. Let's start with this fact. The Yankees are far and away the best team in the American League. I don't care what the standings show. They're not completely healthy. If they get healthy, they're going to be really tough to beat. Short series, anything can happen, of course, but I'm just looking at it on paper. They are the best team, and they're kind of showing that. I think you have a good point, though. If Seattle is rocking and rolling, I think they probably have the best chance. I think bringing New York out to Seattle for a playoff series could give the Mariners a bit of a boost, I suppose. You're right about the AL in general. I don't love Tampa. I think you see their run differential isn't all that great, just plus 13 for a team that's 12 games over 500. So, sure, I can buy into Seattle being the best chance to upset the Yankees, but the Mariners have to play a lot better before we can even think about that.
Absolutely. One more for me before we get to kind of league-wide or CBA stuff. You mentioned as part of your first answer, I think you're exactly right, and I like the way you said it, which is the Mariners have a lot of problems, but in a way, Cal Raleigh is kind of indicative, like a microcosm of all the problems, and it's not just Cal, but he kind of shows what's going on. What do you think is up with Cal? Like, what do you see?
This is from a distance. I think it's in his head now. I mean, he got off to the start, was on the injured list, and now he's trying to play catch up. And you just can't do that. Last season was last season. And again, I'm watching this on TV from Chicago where I'm based, so I haven't really talked to anybody out in Seattle. It just looks like he needs to reset his season at the halfway point here, maybe at the All-Star break, and just start over. I mean, that's what you have to mentally do. You can't try to play catch-up. And I really think just from a distance, that's kind of what he's doing. Easier said than done to restart things, but it is what it is. Set smaller goals. He's hitting 160 or something. Try to get to 200. Just set small goals, and then if you do something like that, from here to the end of the year could be a good second half, even if the overall numbers don't look good. So if he performs now, he can help his team win a division. That's the way he has to look at it. So I just feel like it's between his ears more than anything.
Jesse, yesterday you reported a lot of new proposals that Major League Baseball has brought forth towards the Players Union in their CBA negotiations, also including max contracts, which is something that we see in the NBA a lot, also raising the salary, the minimum salary for each player from $780,000 to $1 million. When you kind of look at just where both sides are right now, is it positive momentum? Is it any kind of momentum? Where do you see these negotiations lying here about 6 months out from when the deadline is?
Yeah, at least the league now has put forth their entire proposal, right? Starting with the cap system, their amateur ideas, and now finally the details in that cap system. So at least we have the whole thing to analyze. So at least we've arrived at a point where each side is given their first proposals, but it really doesn't matter about the details until they decide whether they're going to work under a salary cap or not, because everything that the league has proposed is under a salary cap system. If they start negotiating outside the salary cap system, which is the current system, the league's going to throw all this away and ask for other things. But they first have to decide on which way they're going to go. So, no, there's no momentum until that moment occurs, and that moment's probably not going to occur until March, to be honest. So let's say the union agrees to a salary cap. Now let's start hammering out the details. Let's say the league drops the salary cap request. Now let's start hammering the details out in more of what the current system looks like. So until that is decided, there's going to be real no momentum. You've probably heard the analogy. It literally is like talking different languages. It's just, until they decide on the system, the details really don't matter.
I think I've always heard it pitched as like, oh, well, maybe, players will budge on a salary cap if there's a salary floor. Like that, for, I think, maybe, let's say the average fan, they look at it and go, well, I can see kind of a middle ground. I know that it's much harder to get there with real negotiations, but, this is all of us looking from the outside in going, come on, guys, play baseball. What do you see, though, as maybe a realistic meeting point where I know that you're hesitant to maybe give strong opinions here? It hasn't yet been done, and we know that it's not that simple, but is there something where you're like, I could see a world where owners embrace this or where the players union embraces this?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question. Is there a system that kind of straddles both ideas? So that would start with a floor, okay, but no hard cap, though maybe some really stringent penalties if you go over the luxury tax, even more than now. So force them to spend at a certain amount at the floor, and then really penalize them at the top, but still allow Steve Cohen and the Dodgers to spend. That would maybe be straddling both ideas. We are far from that, though. I haven't even conceived of a combination kind of deal here, because I don't think the league it's either all or nothing with the league right now, maybe even with the union as well. I don't think the league is going to accept the idea of forcing their owners to spend at the bottom, but not putting a cap at the top. I don't think they even want to think about it, even if the union did propose harder penalties. So, yeah, I think it has to be one system or the other, unless come March they really can straddle both ideas. I do think the league has some selling points in general, starting with the fact that the other professional sports leagues have these systems in place, a cap system, and they're kind of thriving. And frankly, many of those players are doing well. The growth in the NHL, NBA, and NFL has done well for the players. The growth in baseball hasn't really done as well for the players. Salaries have increased at the slowest rate of all the professional leagues, and that's for the league without a cap. So I think the union has to really think about these things. But certainly I understand it's kind of un-American to put a cap on salaries, and they've never done it in baseball. So there's a lot to think about. But the idea of straddling both systems, boy, we're far from really either side accepting that.
Jesse, also a couple weeks ago, or maybe it was last week, I forget, we saw the owners also propose raising the minimum draft age from 18 to 20. The draft combine's going on right now in Phoenix with plenty of high school players getting their first time in front of these scouts. What was sort of the conversations you had with people around the league about that over the last week or so? Are people seeing the reason behind it, or is it just kind of like, well, you're just delaying, what could be potentially, generational players from entering your league at age 18? Yeah,
I think this was the part of the proposal that the league knew they were going to take a hit on. I mean, there's really not a lot of ground to stand on with them other than we're saving money. They're delaying free agency a little bit for players because they're going to come into the league a little bit later. Eventually, I think they just don't want to be paying for a whole host of minor leaguers that will never make it to the majors. Like, they're saying they won't cut the minor leagues right now, but in 10 years, I'm not sure that would be still the case. So it's really, there's nothing more than a cost-saving move by the owners in that part of the proposal. You can make a case for the cap system and some of the things they proposed yesterday. This one's tough to make a case other than to save some money. Having said that, think about if from the beginning of time, if high school players were not allowed to be drafted, that might seem normal. Like, you can only come from college starting at age 20. At least it's age 20 after your sophomore year and not junior year. You know what I'm saying? So if we went back 50 years and it was always the rule that only college players could be drafted, we might not think that it's that weird. But that hasn't been the case. 18-year-olds should be able to go into professional baseball. I think that's kind of, like I said, like, it's un-American to say you can't go to professional baseball. You have to go to high school kind of thing, or go to college kind of thing. So it's the part of the proposal the league knew they were going to take a hit on. And remember, it's a first proposal. They may end up allowing high school players to get drafted, but with some other changes to the system. So we have to keep all this in mind. It's the first proposal by the league and the union, and the end result of all this is going to look a lot different.
Talking about some important negotiations with ESPN's Jesse Rogers. My next question, Jesse, I found myself thinking at times, well, God, I wonder if the Dodgers, who are obviously notoriously the biggest spenders in baseball, I wonder if they win a third consecutive World Series, if that'll impact one side or the other or impact negotiations. But to kind of take a step back, now that I have a chance to ask you, does what happens during a regular season or in the postseason actually impact these upcoming negotiations as much as we might think?
I don't think so. I will say if you take the totality of the situation, meaning the Dodgers over several years here, I absolutely think the league is using it as an opening to make these changes. They have the fans on their side for the first time in forever on this issue. So I don't think it comes down to just this postseason. I think it's just the last few years, the disparity in payroll, which keeps increasing between the top and the bottom. I think they are using this moment in time to their advantage. I did tweet this out because think about it. If the Brewers win the World Series, that is an argument for no cap, right? Why should we have a cap if the lowest market team, smallest market team is winning the World Series? But at the same time, it's also discouraging owners from spending like the Dodgers. If the Brewers can win without spending, why can't we win without spending? So it's so, and then the other side is true too. If the Dodgers win again, it will encourage other teams potentially to spend. We need high-priced players to win, but it will also encourage the league to put a cap because the Dodgers keep on winning. So there's things here that are sort of opposite of what you normally, kind of common sense would think here. And Bruce Meyer, the head of the union, was asked yesterday, are you rooting for the Brewers? And he didn't give a great answer. But if he is rooting for the Brewers, be careful what you root for because 29 other teams might stop spending. And, of course, that might turn into collusion, and they've been accused of that in the past. So it's a very confusing situation for everybody involved. I just think the league is going to look at the other three professional sports leagues and say, look, it's working there, and players are actually making money at a higher rate than they are in baseball. You should look at those leagues and follow suit.
Jesse, last one from me. Big news in baseball today was the firing of Carlos Mendoza as Mets manager. The Mets have had a horrible season, 34-47, last place in the National League East. They also traded David Peterson yesterday. He hasn't had a great season, but do you think that is kind of foreshadowing what's to come for the Mets? Do you expect them to offload a lot more pieces the closer and closer we get to the deadline?
Yeah, definitely. I think that this was a one-off because the Cubs are really desperate, and they actually got a good second-round pick for David Peterson. But I think as we get closer to August, yeah, absolutely, they're going to start unloading. I mean, there's kind of like a feeling among executives when you have an underachieving season, there's one thing left to sort of salvage it, and that is to get something for your pending free agents, especially. So David Peterson, I think, is the first of a few, and they did get a good prospect out of it. If you can get a few more, at least you are salvaging something from an awful summer. That's big, sort of absolutely number one on a team that's underachieving, and which is why I think the Tigers are absolutely going to trade Skubal and try to salvage something out of their bad summer as well.
Obviously follow this story, a months-long story heading into next season. Jesse Rogers all over it for ESPN. Jesse, we appreciate your time.
Thanks, Jesse.
Thank you. Appreciate it, guys. Be well.
See ya. Let's get to 4 Down territory.
This is 4 Down territory, going inside the game. What former Seahawks and Coug wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
First down to you, Stacy. The Seahawks are still being disrespected.
Still.
I can't believe it.
I know.
Tell us the latest.
So ESPN's Bill Barnwell, friend of the show. We love Bill.
You're right, yeah. Bill,
He's a nice guy.
He answers our texts
really nice
quite
guy.
often.
He has a new feature ranking teams by skill position groups. The Seattle Seahawks, guess where they ranked in the NFC West?
Probably not first, because I think the Rams would
Sure,
would
yeah.
get that.
Puka, Devontae.
Second?
No.
Third.
No.
Fourth?
No.
Yes.
Okay, so now.
Fourth?
They
have the Offensive Player of the Year as one of their skill position guys.
Get why Bill Barnwell is looking at the Rams, putting them first. I would not be mad. I have complained for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks about the love and admiration the Rams have gotten and kind of the benefit of the doubt the Rams always get compared to Seattle. However, even I will admit that there are like football arguments you could make for the Rams having better skill position groups. Certainly there are questions Seattle's facing. You don't have Ken Walker anymore. He was never like a top 5 running back in the league. But you're going to have a brand new offensive coordinator who's working with a brand new group of running backs. That includes a rookie and a bunch of guys who have never really been starters. Even if you're looking at a committee out of the backfield, there's still some work to be ironed out. I'm really encouraged by the group that they have, but I don't know. I look immediately to the weight that JSN carries. It's not just you have one good receiver. It's, to your point, Curtis, you have the offensive player of the year. That counts as more than 1 point. That is not a check in the receiver box. That's several checks in the receiver box. Likewise, I think that A.J. Barner doubled his yardage total from the year prior. It's still really underrated league-wide. And I'm not sure that you can look at Arizona, who came in third, and say that Trey McBride carries so much weight that it makes up for everything else. Like, look, they added a free agent, Tyler Algier, that I really wanted the Seahawks to, but he hasn't played there. If your take is going to be, we got to wait and see what the Seahawks have in the running back room, well, why not apply the same stuff for new guys in Arizona? And Marvin Harrison Jr. so far is kind of all name without the production. All the talent in the world, but it hasn't worked out. So I found it a bit unfair to grade one team ahead of Seattle based purely on kind of potential, and to knock Seattle for also having unanswered questions. Not fair.
Second down. An interesting name popped up on the NFL's top 100 player list yesterday. Who was it? And if it's not a Seahawk, why should Seahawks fans care?
It is not a Seahawk, though Ernest Jones did make the list at 97. I'm talking about 93. It was Browns linebacker Carson Schweschinger. He won Defensive Rookie of the Year over Nick Emenwari, and that's fantastic. He had a fantastic rookie season, was one of the Browns' best players, particularly on defense behind Myles Garrett. But winning that Defensive Rookie of the Year award over Nick Emenwari was obviously a little controversial here in Seattle, given Emenwari's role and importance for that Seahawks defense. So if Nick Emenwari, who hasn't debuted yet, unless I completely missed this, if he makes his debut on this list with a higher ranking, I just think it's interesting. It doesn't make the award hypocritical because the people who voted on Defensive Rookie of the Year are not the ones putting this list together. It's not like they're talking out of both sides of their mouth. Completely different groups, completely different ranking. But it does make it clear that it's not some kind of unanimous decision in all places of the NFL. Again, Nick Emenwari debuting higher than the guy who beat him out for Defensive Rookie of the Year is just kind of interesting.
Third down. Stacey, who do we need to give a shout out to today?
Shout out Mike McDonald. It's his birthday.
Happy birthday.
Seattle's head coach turns 39 today. A reminder not only to give him a nice little shout out, but also how young he is. He's won a Super Bowl and is still not 40. He's freshly 39.
He is. And he doesn't look a day over 34, I would say.
I would say.
He still
mid-30s.
has a
I'll
very
give him mid-30s.
youthful look to him. Yeah, 39 years old. Is Sean McVay even 40 yet? It feels like
Sean McVay's younger than him, I think.
Crazy.
Wait, let me look this up.
No, I think McDonald was the youngest head coach in the league when he
Sean
was
McVay,
hired.
I think I'm getting confused because Sean McVay's been coaching for 10 years, but I think he is 40.
I think McVay's finally in his 40s.
You're right. Yeah, 40 washed.
Wow.
He's a year older, so 86 for Sean McVay, 87 for Mike McDonald. You're right.
It's nice to be on this side of 40.
But you know what? How about this? It's not his birthday. So how about that,
That's
Sean
right.
McVay?
Yeah, take that.
Take that. Happy birthday, Mike McDonald.
Fourth down. Stacey, a baseball question to end four down territory, but this one we got from a listener on the text line. He said, the lineup should be decided by covering up names and only going off of the players' numbers. So like their batting average, their home runs, all that. Do you agree or disagree?
I disagree, but I get the premise. What I will say is I want to move Cal back in the lineup. And I do think that sometimes, in general, we're a bit stubborn when it comes to potential or like who we know a player to be. And that, names dictate a lot of that. But the reason that I disagree with that is because I don't think It's how opposing pitchers or pitching staffs or managers see Cal. We all might collectively be frustrated with Cal Raleigh's season, and let me tell you what, no one is more frustrated than Cal Raleigh. I can promise you that. But it is very clear in how they pitch him and sometimes the timing of mound visits that opposing teams still very much look at Cal and Julio as massive threats. Like, you could be disappointed, but I think the reason the Mariners really favored Cal there is that you want to punish teams for pitching around him. The problem is neither Cal or Julio are doing much with that because they're chasing, but teams still try to pitch around him. Like, they are pitching him differently this year. So I don't think that's how opposing pitchers see it. They don't look at the average and go, I got this guy. They look at the damage a guy can potentially inflict and go, how do I handle this? So that's why I'm still against the idea of moving Cal super far back, even though he technically has like the second lowest average. You're listening to Bump and Stacy on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app. Is an NBA owner trying to give his fan base the Sonics treatment? That's next.
Think you know the Mariners? Not if you aren't subscribed to the Daily Mariners newsletter from Seattle Sports.
That's what they've been waiting for.
The latest Mariners news and injury updates, exclusives from Mariners insider Shannon Dreyer.
You look at the pieces and how it works.
Plus the best takes and breakdowns from your favorite Seattle Sports hosts and contributors.
The Mariners seem to be trying to build something that I think is a little bit more sustainable.
The Daily Mariners newsletter.
Monster solo home run.
Subscribe at seattlesports.com/newsletter.
Guys, tired all the time? Gaining weight? Low drive? These aren't just signs of aging. They could be low testosterone or other underlying issues. This June, for Men's Health Month, Revive Men's Health in Seattle is offering a free comprehensive wellness panel, a $400 value. It checks your testosterone, blood sugar, cholesterol, kidney, liver, thyroid, and heart health. No guessing, just answers. Over 100,000 men have trusted Revive to get real results. More energy, better sleep, improved mood, and confidence that shows. If something feels off, don't wait. Take control and protect your long-term health by knowing your numbers. This offer ends June 30th. Schedule your free comprehensive wellness panel today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com. Feel better. Live stronger. Start now.
Explore the American Supercar and British Motorcycle exhibits at LeMay, America's Car Museum. Coming up in July, First Responders Appreciation Day, drive-in movie night, cars and coffee, cruise-in, and more. Dates and tickets at americascarmuseum.org.
Hey, baseball fans, Rick Riz here. I'm excited to introduce you to my good friend Keith Dashafy, owner of Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Keith?
Thanks, Rick. Improve your play with 25% off windows and doors or 12 months, no interest and no payments. We're also giving back to the community with 2 $5,000 scholarships for our local youth sports teams. Upgrade your home today at PellaPNW.com.
That's fantastic, Keith. Don't wait. Schedule your free appointment today at PellaPNW.com.
Free consultations, no fee guarantees, 5-star reviews. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains the importance of going beyond these familiar offerings.
Accident victims want an attorney, Tom, that satisfies their needs. Someone who handles those needs with the highest degree of care. Pendergast Law offers the no-fee guarantees and free consultations, but these only scratch the surface.
Okay, explain more.
We make sure that every member of our team is genuinely passionate about helping others. Customer service and communication are our top priority. It's how we take care of our clients so they always feel one step ahead of the insurance companies. Our strong reputation for high standards provides comfort and confidence when it's needed most.
Pendergast Law offers the free consultations, the no-fee guarantees, and, of course, they are 5-star rated. But what really makes them different is their genuine passion for helping others. I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
Hey there, Dawn Riling from Olympic Hot Tub with exciting news. Our mid-year clearance event is on. You'll score big savings on all in-stock saltwater hot tubs and fabulous saunas. Plus, deep discounts on newly released floor model swim spas. These deals are incredible. But don't wait. Our mid-year clearance ends June 30th. OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
Olympic Hot Tub.
Listen every morning to Brock and Salk for Need to Know, powered by Marquee Data.
Marquee IQ brings all your data together into one clear view. Stop running your business on highlights. Get the full picture. Visit datathatwins.com to learn more.
Heading outdoors or on the water this weekend? Check in with Joey and Nelly on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, Brock Heward here. Those in the know wait all year for the return of the Copper River King Salmon, available now at Seastar Restaurant and Raw Bar. Caught in Alaska's legendary Copper River, this wild king salmon is the rarest and most sought after of the run. Chef Howie's team over there, they prepare it simply. Fire grilled, lightly seasoned, really allowing this remarkable fish to speak for itself. Available only when the daily catch allows, and when it's gone, it's gone. So make your reservation at Seastar before the season slips away.
Hi, how can I help? Well, my husband and I feel like we've outgrown our current money manager. I see. Our lives have changed, and we need something more than just mutual funds to help us in retirement.
She's right.
I hear that often. At Fisher Investments, we'd start by getting to know you, your finances, family, health, lifestyle. We tailor a portfolio around your goals and needs.
Sounds good.
Can you help with estate planning? Yes. We have a team of specialists who can help you with estate planning, Social Security, investment income, and more. We'll get to know your whole financial picture and help keep you on the path to a comfortable retirement.
And your fees?
We have a simple, transparent fee that's a percentage of the value of your portfolio. So we do better when you do better. I feel better already. At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at fisherinvestments.com/different. Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Hey, Mariners fans, what's better than catching a Friday night game with family and friends at T-Mobile Park? Catching a double feature of a Mariners game and post-game fireworks spectacular you can't see anywhere else. Next up is a patriotic fireworks night on Friday, July 3rd, after the Mariners take on the Toronto Blue Jays. See the full schedule presented by T-Mobile and score your tickets at mariners.com/fireworks.
Julio is out of the ballpark for the second time tonight. He cannot be stopped.
This is The Timeline
with Bump and Stacy.
Brought to you by 1-800-DUI-AWAY.
Taking a look around the timeline, we got a couple stories here out of Portland. Trailblazers owner Tom Dundon says he wants Portland taxpayers to foot the entire bill for a $600 million renovation of the Moda Center.
Given the age of the arena, the normal thing to do would be to build a new arena. And so we looked at it. It felt like what other markets are doing and where they're getting tax money to do that was going to be something that would be difficult to achieve here. And so we thought the easier way to sort of solve the problem was take these dollars that are generated here. You know, when you charge an incremental fee on a ticket, we're really just paying it. So we are investing in it because if you didn't charge that money on the ticket, we would charge more for the ticket. Like supply and demand works pretty well. And, you know, obviously there's lots of places that don't have taxes at the same rate. So if you charge people taxes and invest it back into the thing that helps generate the money relative to the market, other places, it's a huge investment. So I think everybody can characterize things however they want. I don't see it the same way, but I'm not trying to get people to agree or disagree with me. I just know it feels like we're making a pretty big investment by staying here and paying these tax rates and agreeing to these fees for dollars that go back into the building. It's not that we're taking the money.
This during a business summit, so he's on stage being asked about, like, hey, the economic reasons for doing this. So that's why he's focusing in part on, like, this is what the economics of, you know, this does for the city. However, Curtis, it sounds really patronizing for a guy worth more than $2 billion to expect
he's not going to chip in a dime.
To not chip in a dime, and not only that, but like to have that dismissive kind of laugh it off tone about like, well, you guys don't understand business, but so what it is you know, that goes back into the community. Like, it's just a horrible. It's annoying. I don't like it.
Well,
I don't have any like great point with it. It's just rubbed me the wrong way.
It's like footing the bill or footing the majority of the bill for a stadium renovation for a billionaire is not going to be felt as much by them in their pocketbook the way increasing taxes in an area will be felt in the Blazers fans' pocketbook.
Mm-hmm.
Like, prices are going to go up and up and up for the Blazer fan that makes $75,000 and gets to go to one game a year because they can only afford tickets to one game a year, take their, friends, take their family, what have you. Like, that's a huge investment for them for just one night. Whereas, like, Dundon could pay for multiple $600 million renovations if he wanted to. Now, the one thing that is interesting about the Moda Center is that the city of Portland owns it. So that's kind of Dundon being like, well, you guys are the owners of the stadium. I just lease it. Like, someone who's leasing should not have to pay for the entirety of the renovation for it. True, but you are the main tenant. Like, that building was built for your basketball team. Yeah, it was built, 30 some odd years ago, and it has undergone a renovation since then. But like, this is where your team calls home. Shouldn't you want to be doing everything you could possibly do to make your home the best possible arena by, helping out at least a little bit?
Well, and it is not abnormal at all to turn to taxpayer help for funding those arenas. It happens all over the country throughout the existence of these arenas. This has been an issue with a number of relocations, including obviously here in Seattle, though so often it feels like an intentionally difficult path has been constructed, right? Here in Seattle, it was very much not feeling like an ownership group that wanted to stay here. It was, we're going to use this as an excuse. I'm not saying that's exactly what's happening with Tom Dundon in Portland and the Moda Center. But what I will say is, number one, I think it's incredibly dismissive to act as though people there don't understand how a new center can help the economy and how taxes in can benefit in terms of like overall reward. Like, you're explaining economics 101 like people are idiots in a pretty educated part of the country, by the way. So shame on you. I think that's really dismissive. But two, I do think there are a growing number of people, and Curtis, you're well connected to this community, so you would know, a growing number of people worried that, oh, this is actually just a sign. This is not him saying, hey, I really think this is the best approach. This might be him making it intentionally difficult to relocate the team. I mean, this from Michelle Steele. She says, I met some people from Portland yesterday. Tom Dundon, not a popular man. View on the ground seems to be he's doing all this so that he can move the Blazers out of Portland.
Every movie he's made kind of points to that, and I mean, heck, even elsewhere in the timeline, the whole Micah Norrie situation,
we can jump to that,
giving him a 1-year deal. All these moves kind of point to him trying to like not entrench himself in the community, and I've been a part of that community in Portland. I used to do sports radio in Portland for a year, and like, the Blazers mean a whole heck of a lot to that city, to that area, because that's the only major professional sports team they have. Yeah, they've got the Portland Timbers, sure, but like, in the 4 major sports, that's the only one that they've had, and they've been there for so long. They've been there over 50 years. Like, they are a huge part of that community. We know all too well what it's like to lose a team, and like, but you think about it, at least we had the Mariners and Seahawks to at least catch us when the Sonics left town. You get rid of the Blazers in Portland, I mean, there's nothing.
Well, and look, this is happening, and this isn't outright. This isn't something that's out there. It's just a growing number of theories, and frankly, fair ones, that Tom Dundon is setting this up to be a relocation. However, this is happening simultaneously with the league looking to expand to Seattle and to Vegas, and with the knowledge that that expansion is the result of a relocation that shouldn't have happened. Like, I think that the league has kind of put it off and avoids the conversation because they know that it was wrong. There's a level of weird shame that they have, and this is proof, because you didn't see relocations like that again, that Seattle was kind of the last time that was done, when they were like, oh, this is actually wrong. This is bad for the league. It's bad for business. It creates bigger problems for us. I don't know that the league would let that happen.
It seems like they are kind of letting it happen, which is sad, because I feel like the Sonics leaving Seattle was this huge black eye on the NBA, and it still is a black eye on the NBA. And I don't know if it was like one of David Stern's biggest regrets. It seemed like he was quite all right with the Sonics leaving Seattle. But it feels like, the Allen family did not really do a lot of background checks on Dundon to make sure that he was going to make it a part of Portland for as long as possible. And B, the NBA, I don't think did a whole lot either in terms of vetting this guy because, like, he is clearly from day one set out to alienate himself amongst that fan base.
He doesn't care. He's not trying to. It's not like he's trying and failing and it's just you're a detached person.
Yeah.
He's not even trying. He wants nothing to do with Portland.
Right. And he's from Texas. He's got the Carolina Hurricanes. He has no ties basically west of the Mississippi.
Yeah.
It's a bad spot to be in if you're an NBA fan just south of here. And it stinks that, you'd think with new ownership taking over that, it's like, okay, well, give him some time. Like, I think we kind of know who this guy and what he's all about.
Time for the IRG injury report, brought to you by IRG Physical and Hand Therapy. Christian Pulisic, with that calf injury, made his return in the United States, lost to Turkey on Thursday night. He subbed in at the 57-minute mark, played the rest of the game. Also, not an injury update, but from some news we didn't get to in the timeline, U.S. Soccer has reportedly made an offer to extend head coach Curtis, in Italian we say,
Maurizio Pochettino.
Exactly. Thank you. Through the 2030 World Cup. You're listening to Bump and Stacy on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app. The Mariners have to make a decision. We'll tell you what it should be next.
Have you downloaded the Seattle Sports app?
We're going to have a challenge right here.
What are you waiting for?
Listen to this.
Every pitch.
Here comes the 3-2.
Every game.
Swung on and missed. Got him.
One app for free.
How about that, folks?
The Seattle Sports app. Every game.
Julio racing back.
Right in the palm of your hands.
Makes a leap and makes the catch.
Plus the latest Mariners news, insider access, video, and podcasts.
They got it. Wow.
The Seattle Sports app.
Welcome to IRG Sports Injury Update. We're with Shannon O'Kelly, physical therapist and president of IRG Physical and Hand Therapy. And our guest, Dr. Kevin Berry, physiatrist at Overlake Medical Clinics, musculoskeletal medicine at Highmark and Issaquah.
Dr. Berry, welcome. High school sports are starting. As a physiatrist, tell our listeners kind of how you participate in sports injury diagnoses.
One of the big things that has really taken over my field in the last 10 years is the use of ultrasound to help us better localize and define exactly what's causing someone pain or weakness. So in our practice, we use a lot of ultrasound, especially this time of year, football, baseball, lots of shoulder injuries. So we're able to better look at those different muscles and tendons in the shoulder and figure out which one or which couple of muscles or tendons are the main issue. One of the big benefits that we find with ultrasound is we're actually able to look at somebody as they are moving a joint. So we call that dynamic visualization. And that's really helpful in terms of figuring out, why it hurts when your shoulder's in a certain position or why your knee may lock up in a certain position.
Early diagnosis, identifying the problem, and then getting treatment started is good for the outcomes in the long run. You can do an ultrasound, that dynamic ultrasound right there in the office, make the diagnosis, and get that treatment process started, which again, in turn, better outcomes. Is that correct?
That is definitely one of the big benefits to it. It's also beneficial because it tends to be less expensive for patients than getting an MRI, and there's less of a hoop to jump through to get things approved through insurance.
Well, thank you, Dr. Berry. If you want more information regarding sports injuries, contact Dr. Berry at overlakehospital.org. That's overlakehospital.org.
With over 40 neighborhood clinics around Washington, IRG has you covered. Let IRG be your family's physical therapist. Find the location nearest you at irgpt.com. That's irgpt.com.
Culture is a belief. When we have a new hire orientation, it's pretty impactful because there's a lot of people that don't realize that a car dealer has been in business for 93 years and has, built ball fields. And so then they start asking more questions. And then you go back to the store and you see relationships and friendships and you see legacy employees who have been here for 30 years. And then it's like, why is it different? I can't put my finger on it. What is this? Well, that's culture. You feel it. And then you're like, oh my gosh, this feels really, really good. And before you know it, now that individual is the one fostering that environment of culture. So then when the next person comes through the door, all of a sudden it's like, you can identify it and you say, this person can feel it. And then all of a sudden, what have we just done? We've built culture.
Lee Johnson Auto Family, the LJ way.
Hey, Hey, Mike Salk here for all my friends at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. And the show lineup is pretty sick. You like comedy? Chris Tucker, Friday, June 26th. And David Spade on Saturday, August 15th. For music, Hinder is going to be here Friday, July 3rd. And then a little country music, Mitchell Tenpenny on Friday, July 10th. You can go to snocasino.com for all those details. Remember, it's Seattle's closest. It's Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. Please game responsibly.
Heading outdoors or on the water this weekend? Check in with Joey and Nelly on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Summer is here, and it's time to break through your weight loss frustrations. Hey, it's Dr. Coogan with Eastside Weight Loss, and we have a proven system that can help you lose 20 to 30 pounds or more in just 8 weeks. Whether you need a nutrition plan to complement your GLP injections, or you're like many of our clients who don't want to worry about ongoing monthly costs, giving yourself shots, or uncomfortable side effects. Either way, our program provides the support, accountability, and structured nutrition plan so you can achieve your results for the long term. Schedule your free phone consult at eastsideweightlossclinic.com.
Look, this plan does work. It's Mike Salk here, and I used Eastside Weight Loss Clinic to lose 35 pounds. Just recently, I heard about one of our listeners who lost 40 pounds. How about that? The plan will teach you lifelong habits to continue eating the food you love while losing weight.
We've helped over 4,000 people lose 20 to 30 pounds or more in just 8 weeks. Come to our clinic in Kirkland or do the program remotely from anywhere you live. Schedule your free phone consultation online at eastsideweightlossclinic.com.
Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
I'm Bradley Johnson with 1-800-DUI-AWAY. Let's talk about soccer. Serious passion, inhuman stamina, and yet exaggerated injuries. Soccer is one of the few sports where overtime is a little subjective. One thing we know is that many fans enjoy game day with craft brews. Be sure to keep a clean sheet. It's not worth trading in those bicycle kicks for riding your bicycle to work. When being pulled over for DUI, there are rarely yellow cards, only red. So play it safe and don't go off sides. Call 1-800-DUI-AWAY or go to 1-800-DUI-AWAY.com to schedule your free private consultation. If you're stopped for DUI midfield from home and there are no free kicks, make it your goal to call 1-800-DUI-AWAY.
1-800-DUI-AWAY. From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Bump Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Let's quickly go around the diamond. The Mariners start a weekend series against the Cleveland Guardians today. Pre-game starts at 3 p.m. First pitch at 4:10 p.m. on Seattle Sports. Luis Castillo on the mound. That's Around the Diamond, brought to you by Klein Jewelers Edmonds. The Mariners need to learn how to resolve a good problem. That's the take I want to get to today, Curtis. Earlier, to start the show, we talked about changes we'd like to see the team make right now. And mine was to move Cal back in the lineup and then make a decision about Refsnyder. And you obviously agreed with both, but I asked you, well, what's the thing sticking out to you now? Like, what's your third thing you want to get to? And you went with the rotation.
Yeah, that to me is the thing that I would love to see get resolved as quickly as possible, because ultimately you want your best pitchers throwing as much as possible. You want Logan Gilbert, who will be piggyback tomorrow, and I think we're all kind of approaching tomorrow's game with kind of like, okay, let's see the Mariners wiggle their way out of this jam, and hopefully they're able to. But I don't want your best pitchers sort of limited in terms of how far they can go in games, and also the frequency with which their turn in the rotation comes around, because as it currently stands, like, you're going to see over the course of 162 probably less of George Kirby, less of Brian Wu, less of Logan Gilbert than you normally would under normal circumstances. So I think that is something that the Mariners need to resolve once the All-Star break gets here, because they have been firm in saying, like, this is something we're going to do, the piggyback situation, we're going to do this through the All-Star break.
Yeah, I think with the other two, I was like, hey, I think you could make that decision tomorrow. You could, in today's game, have Cal hit third or fourth or whatever. And they did it at the end. When Cal was in his slump, I think against the White Sox series, they moved him back to fourth. That didn't help. He just wasn't right. He ended up getting 2 hits against Houston to end it. But, like, it was more of just like a, for the love of God, take pressure off.
Yeah.
And we talked with Jesse Rogers earlier of ESPN, who he said, look, from the outside looking in, I'm not covering the Mariners. From the outside looking in, I think there's some mental stuff there. So moving back, that's something you could do today. The Refsnyder decision is something you could do today. The pitching one is like, you don't have to do it today, but I want that type of approach, big picture. I think that, to me, and I don't know that this is true, there's no stats I can give to back this up. This is more of like just a take. It feels like the Mariners are still learning how to be a team that wins. And last year, getting to Game 7 of the ALCS was the furthest they've ever gotten. We know they're still waiting to get to a World Series, but they've never been a regular contender. I really liked this roster to start the year.
I did too.
I still
kind of like it at full health. Yeah.
I think that this team can make the playoffs. And I think that if they are healthy and do some of the things we all hope they do, that they can make a run in October. And I kind of think it's like in my opinion, a quitter mentality to think that that's a lost cause. I think that pretending they aren't good is not fair. There's a difference between being bad and playing poorly.
Right.
They're playing poorly and they're making the wrong decisions over and over and over. But I don't think they're used to being here. I don't think that they've been a team to enter into a season with a target on their back, all the high of the year prior. And I don't just mean like 2023, you ended the drought, or in 96, with obviously everything that happened in 95. I mean, you're like a World Series favorite.
Right.
And with this group. And I think that teams that are contenders are more purposeful with some of their decision making, and they know how to resolve even good problems. And I think the pitching thing is a good problem. You have this problem because Emerson Hancock looks like an all-star, and because Miller came back and looks great, and because only Miller landed on the IL. Those are good problems.
Yeah.
And you can still experiment a little bit, but I don't love the lack of direction. I want a team that moves with a little more purpose, because I think that a team that's going to be a World Series team does that.
I agree. I think you see a lot of World Series teams move with, an absolute purpose in mind, like you said. The Dodgers, they usually don't have any issue just kind of like whittling their rotation down once it gets to postseason time. They have historically carried a lot of starting pitchers in their organization, whether it be, they don't have like Clayton Kershaw anymore, but they routinely carry, 8 or 9 guys that can make a start here or there. You look at their rotation this year, and it helps to have a guy like Shohei Ohtani where he kind of is in and out of the rotation every now and then. But you've got Yamamoto, Justin Wrobelski, Shohei Ohtani, Roki Sasaki's made 13 starts, Emmett Sheehan's made 14 starts, Tyler Glasnow. Like, that's 6 guys who could probably be in any rotation anywhere in the big leagues. So even the Dodgers have been going with a 6-man rotation this year for a lot of games this year. So I look at what the Mariners have right now, and yeah, it is a good problem to have this much starting rotation depth, but ultimately I don't think it's going to help you in the long run if you're using so many of these guys. And it's going to maybe throw the starting pitchers out of whack in terms of like the rest that they get off in between starts. And I want this Mariners team to be as playoff ready as possible, because last year I don't think the rotation was. And Brian Woo's injury factored into that a lot, but there was a lot of struggles that the starting pitching had in the playoffs outside of like Bryce Miller, really, that I think if maybe they had kind of gotten into that playoff mindset a little bit earlier, then they would have had a little bit more success against the Tigers, and especially against the Blue Jays.
Well, because
the Blue Jays knocked around Mariners starting pitching a lot in that ALCS.
Well, and that might be playing in here. Like, I'll give them at least the benefit of the doubt there that, like, the struggles they had with their rotation are probably playing into them going, okay, well, we know what it's like if someone gets hurt. Every single person except for Luis Castillo landed on the IL. So we don't necessarily want to move Luis to the bullpen and then kind of be unable to move him back as a starter. And we like the idea of having all these starters and giving them that rest because we know exactly what this group looked like when they were kind of worn down and we got to the playoffs. But you said, I don't actually think that's accomplishing that, and I agree with you. And outside of that, just philosophically, I think you got to move with purpose. I think you have to move with purpose, and you need to make hard decisions, and you need to solve good problems, and that's something they haven't had to learn how to do before, but you got to start somewhere.
Yeah. Playoffs aren't for everybody.
We're just built different.
That's right.
Taking a look around the NFL next.
Think you know the Mariners? Not if you aren't subscribed to the Daily Mariners newsletter from Seattle Sports.
That's what they've been waiting for.
The latest Mariners news and injury updates, exclusives from Mariners insider Shannon Dreyer.
You look at the pieces and how it works.
Plus the best takes and breakdowns from your favorite Seattle sports hosts and contributors.
The Mariners seem to be trying to build something that I think is a little bit more sustainable.
The Daily Mariners newsletter.
Monster solo home run.
Subscribe at seattlesports.com/newsletter.
What does baseball and Klein Jewelers have in common? Diamonds, of course. Hi, Andy Klein here. Sure, we love baseball, but we love diamonds even more. Why? Because our diamonds sparkle and last longer than 9 innings. Every diamond is hand-selected for maximum brilliance, quality, and value. Klein Jewelers by the Fountain in downtown Edmonds also has a big selection of engagement rings, wedding bands, diamond and gemstone fashion jewelry, and one-of-a-kind custom designs. Swing for the fences and shine with Klein.
Sports fans, you don't have to be a pro athlete to feel like a champion. At Emerald City Athletics, our Champions training program delivers faster, smarter fitness results for every age, every level, every body. And right now, you can try ECA free for 29 days. Boost your energy, build your confidence, become the champion of your life at ECA. Voted best in the Pacific Northwest. Try 29 days free and join for as low as $22 a month. Emerald City Athletics, smarter fitness, real results, champion energy for all.
2 years ago, my office launched a major media campaign to identify key witness to our client's bicycle accident, which we later settled for $10 million. Because when we accept a case, we don't rest until we do everything possible to improve our client's chance of recovery. We're one of only a few firms in the state with an in-house investigation team building our clients' cases. So when you hire Davis Law Group, you don't just get a dedicated and award-winning legal team. You get our commitment to better service and even better results. Request a free consultation today at 206-888-8888.
There's always something new at LeMay, America's Car Museum in Tacoma. Explore the all-new British Motorcycle Exhibition and the thrilling American Supercar Showcase. Fuel up at the brand-new cafe. Then buckle up on the most advanced racing simulators anywhere. Plus exciting events in July. First Responders Appreciation Day on the 11th. Drive-in movie night on the 24th. Tacoma Cars and Coffee with a Hot Wheels track on the 25th. And cruise in on the 30th. Bring the family and see what's new. AmericasCarMuseum.org.
Deep to right field. Going, goodbye baseball.
At T-Mobile Park, you've always got the best seat in the house. But for a view that's a real home run, check out right field. Make that the dump yard. Sure, it's a great spot to see our fearless outfielders fly, dive, and slide.
Wow! Victor Robles makes the catch!
But you might get to flash some leather too, because the forecast in the dump yard always calls for rain. Raining big dumper home runs, that is.
Number 60, the magical tour of Cal Raleigh just continues.
Mariners baseball. Trident's up.
Don't miss next week's Cal Raleigh Funko Pop giveaway. You have 3 chances to score this one-of-a-kind collectible as the Mariners take on the Angels, Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday at T-Mobile Park. The first 10,000 fans at each game will head home with this must-have Funko Pop. Lock in your seats today at mariners.com. That's mariners.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit info kit. 800-572-3344. That's 800-572-3344.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. green gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Let's go!
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
The Mariners dropped their series to the Pirates yesterday. They look to get right with one against the Cleveland Guardians. That starts today at 4:10 p.m. Luis Castillo on the mound. Pre-game show starts at 3 p.m. on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. Taking a look around the NFL. Yes, the story's still going. I can't stop talking about it. Where will Brendan Sorsby play football in 2026? We were wondering yesterday whether it would be the CFL, given that he was clearly not going to be entering the NFL, not returning to the NCAA. But this and today, the CFL will not allow any of its teams to sign Brendan Sorsby. This one is
sorry about
Pro
that,
Football
Brendan.
Talks Mike Florio. At the time, the CFL will not register a contract for him. No team will be permitted to add him to its negotiation list. Now, he hasn't actually said, I want to play in the CFL. It wasn't like, hey, I'm applying for the supplemental draft and then the NFL has declined. He didn't say anything. It was just the CFL kind of making
CFL got out in front of it, don't even waste your time,
They
Brendan.
issued a statement to USA Today reading, upholding the integrity of the league and ensuring fair competition are paramount to the CFL. The allegations involving Brendan Sorsby are serious and concerning.
And the search continues for Brendan Sorsby's next place, so he's going to play maybe the Arena League.
Did you think he was going to go to the CFL?
I thought that was the most likely landing spot. I think in terms of the best quality competition you could get outside of college football and outside of maybe the UFL, probably the CFL. But not going to be the case in 2026 for him. So then that kind of leaves the Arena League or the UFL. And I don't think either of those are, they're definitely not what you'd see in college football. But he only has himself to blame for all this. Don't bet on the games that you're playing in, dude.
I still will die on that hill, which is yes, I think people can get second chances. It doesn't mean that you don't have to own up for the mistakes you made the first time.
Yeah. It's not a big ask to say I'm sorry for gambling on the games I was participating in.
Well, and look, for all the comparisons that have been made defending Brendan Sorsby, likening gambling addiction to something like alcoholism, if someone crashes a car or gets a DUI, you still have to pay that ticket. You still have to do that jail time.
You're going to take your license away.
You don't go and say, oh, my God, I'm so sorry, I have an addiction. Addiction is a very real thing.
Yeah.
And I know that it is a struggle and that it has led to those mistakes by people that, were they not dealing with that, wouldn't have done it. It doesn't mean you don't actually have to atone. You pay the ticket, you deal with whatever consequence came with it, and then, God willing, you're able to work through that addiction. But that's the irony to me in trying to connect it to that, is really trying to liken it to anything that takes it out of personal decision-making, but then not accepting that you still face consequences with those things. Brendan Ayuk Great way to start.
Speaking of another guy,
you know that this is going
in
a great direction. Brendan Ayuk has continued to talk about the Commanders on social media. He posted a video to Instagram. Now, this was Wednesday. We didn't talk about it yesterday. Just focused on the Mariners, but it's an important part of this story. So on Wednesday, he posted a video to Instagram, most of you have seen by now, calling for the 49ers to release him, saying that if so, he would sign with the Washington Commanders tomorrow. The latest, Jeremy Fowler talking about how Ayuk is lighting money on fire at this point.
I mean, he's lighting money on fire is what he's doing every time he puts an Instagram video out right now. So he is on the left squad list for the 49ers still. To get off that list, he has to apply to Commissioner Roger Goodell. He has to file paperwork. I'm told that hasn't happened. I'm told the 49ers haven't given any sort of firm indication to him whether he's going to be cut, traded, whatever. Teams I talked to say that he's essentially untradeable right now. And I've talked to some people around the league who think that when he does get cut, if he gets cut, that he might have to sign a vet minimum deal somewhere because of how all this is gone. So it's a buyer beware situation. Certainly, clearly, he wants to go to Washington. Washington's not planning to sign a receiver right now. Maybe closer to training camp, they revisit it. But the outlook is not great for him right now.
Does Washington want him? We don't actually know. The Commanders can't say anything about it, nor can they, because it would be tampering. Ayuk is still under contract with the 49ers. So we have no idea how the Commanders actually feel, whether they'd be interesting. They can't talk about this at all.
I know him and Jaden Daniels played together at ASU, so there's history there. But I feel like just kind of watching what Brandon Ayuk has been the last couple of years in the NFL, leaving the 49ers and kind of just not telling people what's going on. And then all the videos that we've seen from him, I mean, he's kind of like entering Britney Spears territory with all the videos.
Okay, you watch your mouth.
Where you always are like, oh my gosh, look at this new Britney Spears video of her, dancing with knives in her living room.
That video is so old. There's new ones.
Would it surprise me to see Brandon Ayuk dancing with knives in his living room right now? No, it would not.
The Britney videos
are crazy. I worry for her. And I'm worried for Brandon Ayuk, too, because this is not, like, sane behavior we're seeing from him.
Well, and look, I know that it sounds pretty damning for Jeremy Fowler, who's a reporter, to say he's burning money. But I don't think it's meant to – it's not him saying, this guy's crazy. It's him saying what he's doing is behavior that's going to turn teams and has turned teams off.
Mm-hmm.
And in advocating for his release from the 49ers, a situation that neither he nor San Francisco are clearly happy with, he's actually hurting his chances of finding success somewhere else.
Yeah.
So he's working against himself with each video that he puts out. So, again, incredibly talented, but I don't know where this road takes him.
I don't know if he plays again in the NFL, honestly. I think this whole situation has become too toxic.
Let's jump to the NFC West for back-to-back stories here. We'll start with the Rams. What does Matthew Stafford hope Ty Simpson takes from him? He shared his answer on Chris Long's Green Likes podcast.
I mean, hopefully, he comes away with a guy that treated him the right way, showed him what it was about, what it's like to be a true professional, and also be yourself, right? I'm not some robot out there. My number one job, I've said this 100 times, is like my number one job is to get our team and myself as ready to play as possible. And if he gathers information and learns from that along the way, I'm fired up for our team because that's going to make us better, and I'm fired up for him. Hopefully, he's a guy that 15, 20 years down the road can look back and say, man, I really enjoyed my time with Matthew and learned a lot from him.
I'm going to say something.
Okay.
If you put a blindfold on and heard Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp talk, I think it would take you a second to figure out which is which.
I wonder if it's because of all the years they spent together in LA.
They sound very
kind
similar.
Of
Similar ages.
To be, yeah.
That's my only takeaway about that. Do you have something to say about Ty Simpson, which is actually the story here?
I feel like this is going to go the same route that a lot of veteran quarterbacks do with the young guy who's going to eventually take their job, and that Matthew Stafford's not going to show him the ropes at all. It's going to be left up to the rookies' devices. Jordan Love, I think, had the same issue with Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Rodgers also had the same issue with Brett Favre. So I think that this is just going to kind of be a situation where Ty Simpson better have a lot of support within that organization, because I don't think he's going to get it from the guy who's got the job in front of him, and I don't think Sean McVay is going to be a guy who's going to be having the patience to bring him along either.
Next story out of the NFC West. We'll see if we have time to jump to our Lions story here. JSN was a guest on the Making a Champion podcast. And speaking of Cooper Kupp, he spoke about the importance of having that veteran receiver on the Seahawks offense this year.
Just so much respect for him. And I know, the intel that he could bring to this team was going to be, a tremendous, factor for us. And, I love learning from great players. And, he's definitely one of those. So, when it comes to like our DNA and, what we stand for, just putting our heads down, going to work, having each other's back. And like I said, going forward to a common goal or something.
Cooper Kupp, when he was signed here, I remember talking to someone who would know within the organization and, was kind of asking about the role that Cooper Kupp was playing. I couldn't decide if, is this guy expected to get 1,000 yards or is he expected to just kind of be a leader? And they kind of leaned toward the latter, and I remember wondering whether that would be a disappointment. And it obviously was not. I'm sure there were people who wanted to see more from him in terms of the stat sheet, but I think it also really goes to show that when coaches or players talk about, having a veteran here, it's a big deal, it's not just a way to smooth over underwhelming numbers. It matters.
Right. And I think, Cooper Kupp, it wasn't just the guys in the wide receiver room that were highly complimentary of him. I know Mike McDonald talked too about how much of a culture setter he was. He recently talked a couple weeks ago about Cooper Kupp's importance as well. That was one of the shrewdest moves the Seahawks made last year, is bringing him in, because I think we all kind of assumed his days as a 1,000-yard receiver are kind of behind him. But to be a tone setter, to be a veteran in the locker room, especially on that offensive side of the ball, Cooper Kupp, just so important to what's going on here in Seattle.
Headline rewrites coming your way next.
Seattle Sports, home of Wyman and Bob.
Is Sam Darnold worth $55 million a year?
Afternoons 2 to 7.
I think he's worth it. I do too. That's going to be a low-sounding number here very quickly. He's not an ego guy who's going to be, let me cook, let me chuck it all over the yard. I don't think he is going to think, hey, I deserve $55 million. I think he's willing to work for that. Similar results next year, then we'll start talking about that.
Watch live or later on the Seattle Sports YouTube channel.
This is for all you guys on Viagra. ED pills are no longer needed. The brutal side effects like 4-hour headaches, blurred vision, and that flush feeling can all be put behind you with our treatment. Here at West Coast Men's Health, we have a better approach to ED. Acoustic wave therapy creates blood flow circulation by safely removing the plaque in your arteries and restoring function naturally. Guys, let me be clear. Pills will never fix your problem. Our equipment is the latest technology, and our medical staff is the best in the industry. So give West Coast Men's Health a call today. Speak with our clinic manager. Ask him any question you like, how it works, the science behind it, and even the cost. If you suffer from ED or Peyronie's disease, give West Coast Men's Health a call today.
In addition to treating ED and Peyronie's disease, we now offer testosterone replacement therapy. With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
Upgrade your home with Lake Washington Windows and Doors. Be among the first 40 June projects to sign up for 5 or more installed windows and receive a free patio door. Plus, enjoy 12 months no interest, no payments financing. LakeWashingtonWindows.com.
Hey, it's Mike Salk here. And summer in Western Washington, it means trips to the beach, summer barbecues, little golf, that vacation maybe you've been looking forward to. Well, when you take those pictures this summer, don't you want to look and feel your very best? Eastside Weight Loss Clinic can help, and trust me, you can do this so fast. I lost 15 pounds just in the first 2 weeks, 35 pounds after 8 weeks. How about that? There's time, so what are you waiting for? Schedule a 15-minute, no-obligation consultation right now at eastsideweightlossclinic.com. Here's what to expect. Safe, healthy, sustainable weight loss, no exercise, no pills, no injections, no surgery. You're eating all real food that you buy at the grocery store. You will lose weight and you will look and feel your very best. That feeling, it's just on the other end of your 15-minute consult. What's the secret? You'll find out in only 15 minutes with Eastside Weight Loss Clinic. Schedule your quick intro today at eastsideweightlossklinik.com. That's eastsideweightlossklinik.com. Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here with my buddy Shannon O'Kelly from IRG Physical and Hand Therapy. We know this, Shannon. When the weather warms, our baseball
baseball teams' bats usually get a little hotter. We also know that maybe we've been sitting around and we try to crank things to 100 and our bodies don't quite react. As the weather gets warmer, do you see more folks at IRG?
Absolutely, Brock. You just mentioned it. As the weather warms up, people think they need to get outside, which is great. But sometimes they get outside, they start too fast, too quick, and they don't warm up. They don't stretch. They don't do preparation. If you find yourself in that situation where maybe you overdid it, you're hurt, you got a bruise, a bump, an ache, get a hold of us at IRG PT. We'll do a free injury screening, and we'll give you some guidance, some recommendations to keep you on your path of healthy function, pain-free activity.
How cool is that? A free screening for you and no referral needed. Just personalized care when and where you need it. Visit irgpt.com and schedule your appointment today. Over 40 convenient locations. IRG's in your neighborhood. irgpt.com.
Every summer, homeowners wait too long to find a house painter. All Covered Painting is accepting a limited number of exterior projects this season. Ask about a designer-led complimentary color consultation. Get your free estimate at allcoveredpainting.com. Listen every day to the Bump and Stacy Show for headline rewrites. Powered by Bay Alarm Security Services. Security systems and fire alarms for every business. Bay Alarm, we got you.
Here in the Pacific Northwest, windows can be one of the best investments you can make to add value to your home. At Dunn Lumber, we have designated Marvin window specialists who have been trained by Marvin to best serve your needs. If you need help finding the right windows for your home, come by one of our 4 Dunn Lumber window showrooms. Or reach out to me personally, Mike Dunn at DunnLumber.com.
Dunn Lumber, building success together.
Protecting workers' rights is the goal! Thousands of workers will help power the excitement of Seattle's Summer of Soccer from June 11th through July 19th. If you're working in hotels, stadiums, restaurants, security, temp jobs, or app-based delivery, you have rights. From wage theft to minimum pay, the Seattle Office of Labor Standards wants you to know that you are protected. Call 206-256-5297 or visit seattle.gov/labor standards.
This might be the most surprising statistic I've shared in decades of doing local news. More than 75% of commuters will be involved in a car accident at some point. JP Pendergast of Pendergast Law with more.
What makes it more surprising? The average person will be involved in 3 to 4 collisions in their lifetime.
With accidents unbelievably prevalent, what are some safety tips if it happens to you?
Safety first. Secondary collisions are not uncommon while awaiting help. Turn on those hazards and remain in a safe place. If a bystander witnessed the accident, capture their information and encourage them to remain at the scene. Seek medical attention immediately if needed, as delaying can be a costly mistake. Lastly, remember that statements made to police and insurance adjusters can affect your case.
Collisions are more common than we'd like to think. If you find yourself in one, follow these helpful tips and then call my friends at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one's injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
PendergastLaw.com.
Extra, extra, real
Headline rewrites.
We must make headlines.
The real story behind the headlines in today's news.
Powered by Bay Alarm Security Services.
With Bump and Stacy.
Headline number 1, Stacy, Dallas Stars star left winger Jason Robertson reportedly turned down an 8-year, $120 million extension offer from the Kraken and nixed a trade that would have sent him to Seattle. What's the real headline?
Seattle couldn't land a star, but they should keep shooting for the moon. Curtis, let's take a couple steps back.
Okay.
For anyone who was not paying attention to the story or maybe didn't tune in earlier, let's talk about the kind of background information, what's relevant, why the Kraken were going after him. Obviously, he's good. It would have been a blockbuster deal, but why this move in particular felt like the right direction for the team.
Well,
then the implication of him turning it down and what it means now.
Robertson would have given the Kraken a scoring threat that they've never had in their franchise's history. Jared McCann has been a good scorer for them, but no one as consistently as Robertson. No one who's entering the prime of their career like Robertson. He's going to turn 27 this season. It would have made a lot of sense for the Kraken, who have been desperately searching for any kind of star talent. Here, unfortunately, Robertson saying it's not the money that is why I'm turning this down, because the Kraken would have offered him more than what the Stars are offering him in terms of an extension. No, it's like I don't want to play for the Kraken organization. I don't want to play my prime seasons for a team that is not close to contention for a Stanley Cup. And so it's really hard to kind of sit here and be okay with that, because it's like, dang, he said that about the team that is here that is trying to get off the ground. And you kind of wonder, like, is that opinion shared by a lot of other guys in the league?
2 follow-up questions for you, and you were getting these online as well. And before I see them on the text line, I'm sure they're going to be coming in, because this has been a conversation when it comes to other free agents for other teams. Number one, do you think that there's a factor here? Because I saw people talking about it, about like a millionaire's tax. Oh my God, is this at play? Number two, does this mean the Kraken are going to run into this again and again and again? Like, are there other blockbuster deals they can make? How personally should they be taking this?
Well, I mean, last trade deadline, another guy, Artemi Panarin, turned it down in a trade that would have sent him to Seattle. Seattle offered him a 4-year, $56 million extension. He said no and ended up getting traded to the LA Kings instead. I worry that the Kraken are going to have a much harder climb out of the doldrums where they're at than I think they maybe realized. I get that they released part 1 of their franchise audit this week and kind of detailed a bit of what they want to improve upon, but it's hard to change the outside opinion of your organization. You can work on everything on the inside, but to convince a lot of these star players across the NHL that you're worth the time and investment that it's going to take to get back to, the playoffs, I don't know. That's going to be a really tough thing to do, and it's going to take probably multiple seasons in order for the perception of them to change.
Headline rewrites.
Line number 2, the U.S. men's national team lost 3-2 to Turkey on Thursday, but they did win their World Cup group. What's the real headline?
And that's the only Turkey we're pardoning this year.
That's right.
USA.
USA. USA.
I wanted to lose.
Yeah.
Keeps you humble. We needed to pardon a turkey.
Sure.
And
why
I
not
think
do it in
maybe
June?
we misunderstood. It was just confusing. So
Look.
like you said earlier, other turkeys on notice.
Yeah.
November. So sorry. None of you are off the clock for this one. So
it was a compelling match too last night because it was 2-2 super late. I was watching it during stoppage time, and they had given both teams 7 minutes of stoppage time and it had crossed the 7-minute threshold. So I'm like, okay, this game's ending any second now. And like Team USA, I think, tried to clear it out of their own side of the field. It didn't go very far. And so then Turkey obviously sets up the game-winning goal. And I'm just like, what the heck? My American soccer take, and I'm sure, Giuseppe in Florence is going to hate this.
Not Giuseppe in Florence.
I think when the stoppage time clock hits the exact minute marker of where you have set it to be, that's when the game should be over.
Shot clock.
Yeah. Everything's over right then. It's not just kind of like up to the referee's discretion. No. 7 minutes of stoppage time should mean 7 minutes of stoppage time.
I don't think that's just an American. Is that just in like a super American soccer opinion that maybe more experienced or like no, we get football. You watch soccer. We get football.
You Yankees would not understand the beautiful game.
No, I think it's
sure.
weird.
Yeah, I think once the 7 minutes or however long you have set stoppage time to be, once that is up, you drop dead right at that time.
You drop dead.
Well, the game drops dead, not them.
Headline rewrites.
That's what John Stockton was saying was happening. Headline number 3. After being fired last year by Garfield High School following allegations of recruiting violations, Brandon Roy is being rehired by Garfield to be their boys' head basketball coach. What's the real headline?
But what are rules anyways?
I mean, they're just there.
We had kind of not conflicting opinions, but I was saying, look, I know this is a massive story and that things like this are massive stories, but my own experience in high school with a high school that was very, very bad at sports, and many of the kids that played for other teams, much better teams, lived in my my neighborhood and then would go elsewhere. This has always been something where I just have kind of been like, okay. But I know that, if you went to Bellevue, it's a bigger scandal. Or if you played against some private schools are different. But, I understand that there are some people that really deeply care about this with high school sports. I just, in my mind, I'm like, this stuff has happened forever and ever and ever.
Yeah, it's not new to this area. It's not new to wherever competitive high school sports are being played. You see it even in movies. I think, it was Friday Night Lights a TV show or
it was both. Good question.
One of them.
Very good question.
Where they fudged a kid's address so that he could play for the team. This was not that case. There was a Freedom of Information Act request for why Brandon Roy had gotten fired mysteriously last year, because we didn't know the scope of the allegations, and it was the kid from Auburn. I think it was Auburn Mountain View. I misspoke earlier. I think I said Auburn Riverside. Kid from Auburn Mountain View was offered $2,000 in cash, a car to use, paying for the kid's driver's ed, and
which
then
is my favorite
also
part
an
of it.
apartment as well. So that's why he got popped for all that. So can't be doing that.
Yeah, you can. Do you know a woman who gives her all to the sports community, encourages diversity, and empowers those around her? Seattle Sports is partnering with the Seattle chapter of WISE. That stands for Women in Sports and Events. Together, we want to recognize a woman in our community, and we need your help finding her. Nominations for the 4th Annual Women of Inspiration Award are open now until July 10th. The winner will receive a donation to the cause of their choice. Nominate an inspiring woman at WOISeattle.org before the deadline. Mariners analyst Rowland-Smith joins us next.
Seattle Sports, home of Wyman and Bob.
Is Sam Darnold worth $55 million a year?
Afternoons 2 to 7.
I think he's worth it. I do too. That's going to be a low-sounding number here very quickly. He's not an ego guy who's going to be, let me cook, let me chuck it all over the yard. I don't think he is going to think, hey, I deserve $55 million. I think he's willing to work for that. Similar results next year, then we'll start talking about that.
Watch live or later on the Seattle Sports YouTube channel.
How you do one thing is how you do everything. And for 104 years, Wayscarf Ford has treated their customers a very special way, the Wayscarf way. Stacey here, and I've personally felt that. I've driven my new Ford Bronco from Wayscarf Ford for over a year. Getting it was exciting and stress-free, but each time I brought it in because of a minor bump or service, their team has been amazing, always friendly, always polite. They explained that each vehicle they sell includes a complimentary lifetime powertrain warranty. That covers your engine, transmission, rear end, and also seal and gaskets for any of those components. And if it's a 4-wheel drive or all-wheel drive like my Bronco, the warranty covers the transfer case as well. They also have a 5-day or 500-mile 100% money-back guarantee. I always leave Wayscar Ford with a smile on my face, and now you should too, with rates as low as 3.99 on approved credit and no payments until football season to help you save even more. It's the family discount, and it's only at Wayscar Ford in Auburn.
Explore the American Supercar and British motorcycle exhibits at LeMay, America's Car Museum. Coming up in July, First Responders Appreciation Day, drive-in movie night, cars and coffee, cruising, and more. Dates and tickets at americascarmuseum.org.
Your windows and doors play a huge role in your home's efficiency and comfort. Choose Lake Washington Windows and Doors for windows that are up to 25% more energy efficient than Energy Star standards and reduce noise by up to 50%. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com today.
Summer's supposed to be fun. When the kids are home all day, the groceries, they add up fast. G. Scott here with a quick heads up from Safeway. There's a program called Sunbucks that gives qualifying families $120 per child for summer groceries. Some families are signed up automatically and will get a card in the mail. Others need to apply. Take a minute to check. It could really help put food on the table for your family. Head to freesummermeals.org to find out more. That's freesummermeals.org.
At Dunn, relationships are everything. It's why we build a culture around building the best relationships possible, building joy and trust, one interaction at a time. So whether you need trusted advice, help with material selection, project planning, or loading your vehicle, we go the extra mile to remove as much of the hassle as we can.
If there's anything we can do to serve you better, contact me personally, Mike Dunn at dunlumber.com.
Dunn Lumber, building success together.
There's a sink at the brink and a drain that's a pain.
Day and night.net.
Slow drain? Backed up toilet? Call Day and Night to save $100 off any drain cleaning.
Hi, I'm Bruce with Day and Night Plumbing and Heating. From a slow drain to a major backup, no drain is too big or too small. Whether we're your first choice or smart second opinion, I guarantee our experts will solve any drain problem, day or night.
Now get $100 off any drain cleaning.
Dayandnight.net. Do you know a woman making a difference in Seattle's sports and events community? Someone who leads with purpose, mentors others, champions inclusion, and inspires those around her to be their best? Why Seattle and Seattle Sports want to celebrate her. Nominations are now open for the 2026 Women of Inspiration Award, recognizing an outstanding woman whose impact is helping shape the future of sports and events in our region. Submit your nomination today at woiseattle.org. Nominations close July 10th.
Mariners and Guardians this afternoon in Cleveland. 4:10 first pitch, 3 o'clock pregame. Every pitch, every game, one app for free. The Seattle Sports app.
Valvoline Instant Oil Change presents Wisdom from the Road.
Summer means wide open spaces and a whole lot of extra miles. The last place you want your engine to give out is halfway to nowhere. Out here, low oil or a weak battery is just an ambush waiting to happen. That's why every oil change at Valvoline Instant Oil Change includes an 18-point maintenance check. These techs are trained to help spot issues early and keep you riding easy.
Valvoline Instant Oil Change.
Change wisely.
Rick Riz here for the Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington's Improve Your Play program. Many of our local youth sports teams need help with field enhancements, training, and equipment. Local Pella owners Keith Dashafy and Luke Wilson are stepping up to donate $5,000 to 2 deserving teams. We need your help finding them. Head to seattlesports.com/play to nominate a deserving team in need. Let's help our local youth improve their play this year with Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Contest and rules at seattlesports.com/play.
I'm Bradley Johnson with 1-800-DUI-AWAY, and I want to wish you a happy Independence Day. The 4th of July is my favorite. It's about family, gratitude, patriotism, and amazing exploding lights in the sky. Perhaps I love it most because it's called Independence Day. I love to fight for my clients' independence. Your right to drive, to provide for your family, your right to do stuff. You feel liberty most when you lose it. Remember buying a box of bottle rockets and salute shells with nothing more than a "have fun, kids"? Well, things have changed since then, including the consequences of a DUI. We're your safe and sane solution to keep freedom ringing. Call 1-800-DUI-AWAY or go to 1-800-DUI-AWAY.com. Red, white, and blue are the colors of freedom, unless they're flashing behind you. 1-800-DUI-AWAY.
1-800-DUI-AWAY.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bump Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Joined now by Mariners analyst Rowland-Smith. Ryan, how's it going?
I'm doing good. How you guys doing?
I wish I could say the same for the Mariners. They are not doing so good. I think that, I'm sure you agree, and I know Curtis does, that this is a good team. It's a talented team, rather, and they are underperforming in quite a few ways. And so Curtis and I spent a good chunk of the day going, okay, what kind of changes do they need to make sooner rather than later? One of the most popular suggestions, one that I had, one that we kept getting, was about kind of lineup maneuvering. Now, the lineup isn't the single biggest issue with this team. But I wondered if guys like Cal are maybe just facing a ton of pressure, especially with an offense that isn't performing. Would you do a little experimenting there?
In regards to moving Cal?
A little further back. Yeah, like fourth or something. Back. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, I had this, we had this conversation in April before he hit the IL in regards to moving around the lineup with certain guys who were feeling the pressure and everything else. I think, first of all, just to take a step back from talking Cal with this lineup, you basically have constructed this coming off a time when you won, the AL West last year. You've come off where you spent the last 2 months of 2025 where you didn't move that lineup at all, except for maybe a little bit of platooning, right, in regards to the right or left. And you just had that consistency, and guys love it when they know who they're hitting behind, and they like that structure of the timing in regards to when they're getting up to hit, righty, lefty in front of him. I'll give you an example. When Dom Canzone was hitting behind Luke Raley, he loved it because they're pitching Raley a certain way, and he could basically just watch the first 5 pitches and everything else. So I say all that, and I look at this now, and you pretty much know what you got. Like, at this first half of the season, you kind of know and understand what what's happening and what's not happening. What's not happening in the month of June is they're just not scoring runs. I mean, we're talking runs a game. They're either 29th or they're 30th, hovering, and they've been hovering like that for the last couple of weeks. Therefore, hey, you know what? Just shuffle some guys around. Move some guys around a little bit, because I'm not saying, well, you have to earn that structure in the lineup, but you have to shuffle this a little bit. I'm with you. Now with Cal, with him, I'm looking at him, and regardless of where he's hitting in the lineup, he's got a situation where Brendan Donovan's not at the top, right? Naylor's not providing the power. He knows it. Julio hasn't been providing the power in the month of June either. So you're looking around going, man, all right, I had 60 home runs. I hit 5 of these bad boys when I was on my rehab stint coming back. And everyone's like, yeah, we're going to get some OPS. We're going to get some slug. And you feel that because the guy in front of you, behind you, is not providing that. So all of a sudden you get to that place where it's like, it's on me. And I think he's carrying a lot of weight on those shoulders, even after coming back from the IL. And you can see it. He's in a lineup all of a sudden that, especially coming off the end of last year, that simply is not hitting what he does really well, and that's hit home runs. They're just not slugging. So he's feeling that way because it's like, man, I have to play catch up for what I've missed here. And so you're starting to see that. So yeah, I've got no problem with that. Shuffle it around, maybe take some of that pressure off a little bit in regards to Cal moving for sure.
Ryan, looking at the Mariners offense, obviously they have really struggled here over the last couple of weeks. Haven't scored more than 3 runs in a game since 2 Fridays ago against the Nationals in that rain-delayed game, which is crazy because normally the Mariners don't put up a lot of offense in rain-delay games. But, Ryan, from a pitcher's perspective, and you played for a couple Mariners teams that struggled putting up runs, and what was that like going out on the mound knowing that, hey, if we don't limit the opposing team to 3 or 4 runs tonight, we might have a tough time winning this one?
Well, Curtis, to your point, man, 2010, we had a streak of 11 games. I believe this team's at 11 games as we speak. I think the longest streak is like 2015, where they had 3 runs. We were talking 3 runs or fewer, right? Like that 3 run threshold, right? I want to say like 2015, they had a streak of 13 games. So 2010, yes, I remember it clear as day. And you know what's interesting? Felix Hernandez had, I want to say, the top 3 worst run support in baseball that year in 2010, and he was so dominant. But that's Felix Hernandez, and he's just a different breed. When you are me, right, and you don't get that run support, and you don't get that deflation in the other dugout, and you don't get that where they're pressing a little bit, or you don't get that safety blanket. It's like, hey, look, I can pitch differently with a runner on second and third than I can if it's a 1-run game, period. Like, that's just the way it goes. And you don't try. Everyone's like, well, you don't just feed fastballs down the middle. Or some guys are like, well, why don't you just challenge more? It's not about that. It's more about knowing that I got a runner on second and third right behind me, and all of a sudden I'm pitching a guy to say, I'm going to trade in runs, third base, for some softer contact, and the best I'm giving up here is a manufactured run. Whereas when you are playing, if you got a 5-run lead, you got a 1-run lead, oh, man, all of a sudden that you slip into that 2-0, 2-1 count. Why? Because you're pitching away from contact more. Because you don't want to give up that double. That's just simply put. And if you're struggling that day to put guys away for any reason, it makes it even tougher. I'll give you an example, like George Kirby, right? So George Kirby's had a way tougher time putting hitters away this year, right? It's clear as day. Now, he's had great, done a great job in getting some softer contact, but he has no run support this year at all. And you can see it. All of a sudden, that big inning happens. Why? Because you're in a situation where you're pressing, trying to get that no ball in play pitch, and you make mistakes all of a sudden over the middle of the plate. It's clear as day. So it is much tougher to pitch. And I'm not sitting here. I wouldn't say this. None of these guys will admit that while they're pitching. No one's going to say, George Kirby is not going to tell you, oh, well, it's tough. It's always a close game, and I have to pitch differently. But I just know being in those moments, man, where, you're going. I'm trying to remember who it was. We're playing the Angels, I was pitching against someone who was dominating. He was a lefty. Oh, Scott Kazmir. That's right. And we put up a 4 spot. And I was like, oh, my God, man. This is like the 4th inning. I just cruised the rest of the game because it was just like, all right, they're just going to press. They're deflated. And I can get deeper into this game, save the bullpen an inning, and I can give up a run or two, and I'm set. I'm all good. Not because I want the W. It's just because it's just simply easier to make pitches when it's a completely different scenario and situation they're doing. It is tough, man. I'm telling you.
Kind of staying with this topic a little bit. I know that sometimes in baseball, in any sport, but in baseball, you can have ruts that an entire team is in. So, like, to me, sometimes asking something like, what's wrong with this team is really difficult when it's like a lot of stuff, man. And like, sometimes it happens. You do have to figure it out. But sometimes it's this weird, it's incredibly difficult to articulate what's wrong. So what I'm more interested in for right now that we have the opportunity to talk to you is behind the scenes in those moments when your team's in a rut, when things aren't going great. Is it on like a leader in the clubhouse, on the manager to do something? Is it just like it takes one good game to snap out? Does that sink a team? Like, what's that behind the scene feeling like? And how can the Mariners kind of power through what is very clearly a bad stretch?
Well, really good question. There's a couple times during your afternoon workouts where if you have bad character in that clubhouse, or if you have bad leadership in the clubhouse and on the field, that this will create a cancer on the team. This will spread like wildfires and just give the worst energy possible for a team. It used to be during batting practice. Now these guys kind of have these like more individualized type sessions. But it's the conversations when you're standing around, or especially when the team's on the road right now. You get on that bus to the airport, and then you get on the plane, and you start having those conversations if you're walking back and forth on the aisle. And it's these conversations where guys start sort of pointing and trying to focus in on what is going wrong, and then they start pointing fingers. The minute that happens, man, it can be tough because all of a sudden it's got that 1 or 2 dudes on the team, and I have played with plenty of these guys, and I've been public about it. It changes everything because regardless of what you think of their opinion, you're going to start to believe it one way or another. Now, if you've got someone as a leadership type role in that clubhouse as a team, someone who you look up to a little bit more, and they start saying that, oh man, it is very difficult to get out of that energy. Now, this team, the advantage this team has, we talked about this a little bit, I'd call it this time last year, maybe a little bit later than this time last year, that you got to remember something. This is a unique situation because you have literally the core of this team who have all gone through coming out of, call it a rebuild or a reset together. They've come up through the minor leagues together. Think about it, right? Like the pitching core, for example, right? Or even, some of the offensive players as well, but especially the pitching core. They've all been sort of cut from the same cloth in regards to the way they develop, number one. Number two, they've come up in a situation where no expectations have exceeded expectations. Then they've gone through getting to the postseason. Then they've played in the postseason together as young players. Then they've had struggles. Then they've had injuries together. All that means the world because all of a sudden when you start hearing a teammate of yours you've been around through some of these different chapters in their career and they start sounding different, like what I just described, you can call them out on it. Much easier than when you have a new player coming in and that's how they're acting because it's like, well, this must be how this guy always is. So I think that's the advantage with this team. Now, I say all that and I don't want to sit here like everything's okay, everything's good. But you still are in a situation now where you mentioned this, Stacey, in the beginning of the conversation. This team is really talented. They've dealt with injuries. You're waiting for Cal to step up. I think Cal has to be a really productive player for this team to move. They really do. But there's enough pieces around him, and there's enough pieces that once they're healthy, I think they can weather this storm. And with the pitching they have, top 5 pitching in baseball, it's ridiculous. It's really good. They're going to be okay. I know no one wants to hear that, but just from your original question about having that kind of character in the clubhouse, it is complete night and day compared to some of the teams I was on. And you have these characters that you've just been around for the first time and they start spreading like wildfire some of this toxic energy. I don't think they have that with this team.
Ryan, it feels like the ace of this pitching staff changes year to year. We've seen Logan Gilbert ascend to that role in the past. Brian Wu last year very much so was that guy. I think it's been George Kirby at times. Luis Castillo has been there. Is it Bryce Miller right now?
Man, you know what? Like I said this the other day. First of all, since he's been in the big leagues, I was just wondering if there's enough to get him into that All-Star game. Now, I know Mizorowski threw, 25 innings last year, and they gave him a spot. But since he's been back, it's insane, man. Like, not just the strikeout numbers is a top 3 in regards to strikeout rate. He's obviously not going to get the same amount of strikeouts because he wasn't there at the beginning. The walk rate is the best in baseball. And, by the way, the efficiency is also there as well. So the innings per start are up there in top 10 since he's been back. The pitches per inning are up there as well. So you've got a situation where it's like, man, not only is he just punching tickets going 4 innings and just trying to get, a whole bunch of swing and miss and great. No. He's actually, when you look at it in in his starts, he's actually gotten deeper and been way more efficient. So I was going to say, look, all these other guys in this rotation have made this All-Star team. He is a guy that, man, like it sucks that he missed the beginning, but I think there's enough innings for him once he get to that point. If you call it 60, 70 innings, he should be an All-Star this year. And yeah, he right now is a guy that I don't think he's quite there yet in regards to the ace, where it's like he's pitching, he's going to put a stop to this streak, or he's going to put a stop to this losing or whatever. I don't think he's quite there yet, but I think he's very, very close. And by the way, Curtis, on that, I think Logan, watching the last couple of starts, is returning to being that guy again. I really do.
Yeah, watching Logan has been fantastic. I wanted to kind of circle back to leaning on your knowledge of these players. I think I'm bought into the idea that there's a lot of mental stuff going on right now. Because I do push back against anyone. I know you don't think this. I push back against people who go, oh, they were never really that great of a team. I'm like, no, it's not making sense. Something isn't clicking here. Based on what you know about these players, are they in danger of not pulling themselves out there? Or do you look at these guys and go, no, I think that this guy's got it. I think not only the skill, but I think this person very much has the ability to pull himself out. And do you see signs of that happening?
Well, Stacey, with that regard, now I am fortunate enough I'm not on this road trip, but I'm fortunate enough to be around this guy more so than other people. And sometimes I have conversations with him that I probably won't say things publicly because I want to, keep their trust and everything else. I say all that, but until you're actually in that clubhouse day to day and having those kind of conversations, you don't fully know what someone's really, really going through, right? Like, for example, it could be, like Brian Wu. You won't fully know what that guy's going through unless you're one of his buddies in that rotation, or Pete Woodworth, or not even the front office, if I'm being quite honest, what he's going through mentally at the moment, right? And so I say all that. So I don't want to sit here and go, oh, yeah, no, this is what they're thinking, because you don't know. And it's amazing. I had some teammates who I'll tell you stories of what they were going through at certain points. Like, what, that guy? It's like, yeah, this is what he was going through. Now, saying that, back to what I said earlier, I think there's enough build up here with this team where they have got a situation. They've had a rebuild. They've had not to call it a rebuild, but they've come out of that. They've played in the postseason. They've done all these things together. They have those conversations. It's rare. Think about it. It is rare. That's one of the disadvantages when you build a team from scratch and you pay all this money for players in an off season. You don't quite know how these guys are in June, July. You don't know. You simply don't know unless you do a heavy, heavy research. So that's the one advantage I think this team, if I'm looking at this glass half full, they have this major advantage of knowing what kind of character they have when things are good, things are bad, and things are the way they are right now.
Ryan, Dom Canzone has looked really good this season. Hasn't faced left-handed pitching a ton this year, but against righties, he's killing it. Do you think that's somebody that has earned more time against, the splits that he's normally been doing, where he's just strictly against right-handers? Do you think he's earned maybe some more at-bats against lefties here?
1,000%. 1,000%. Unless you have a surefire right-handed bat that's, let's say Rob Refsnyder was doing what he was doing last year, but he's not. He's not that guy at all. I say that, and with all due respect, like I like Rob Refsnyder and everything else, you have to give a guy like Dom Canzone, who's swinging it the way he is, who hit lefties, by the way, at the second half of last year, right? You have to give him way longer, let him face lefties and give him a way longer leash. And you watch what happens, man. And by the way, when you have given this, hey, we want you to hit righties, lefties, you're going to play every single day. What do you think when you walk out of that manager's office? What do you think happens to your confidence? Dom Canzone, look, he's been through it, man. He was in on the radar at the beginning of last year. You think he's going to walk out of that and be like, oh no, the pressure? No way. He's going to walk out of that game. Let's go. And then by the way, he's stung balls too off lefties. He's had a really good approach. There's been a couple of times he's swung at pitches. I'm like, oh, okay, that's showing that left on left, a little bit of a gaping hole at times. But no, I mean, he's been rock solid. And he has a track record with this same group of guys, same coaches, same two hitting coaches at the end of last year, is facing lefties and doing damage. So 1,000%, man, he's earned that spot to play against lefties. And until you show me someone otherwise off the bench, he's playing against lefties every single day.
Last one for me, Ryan. I know that you're not on this road trip, but obviously you know plenty about the Guardians, about an upcoming opponent with, I think the Angels are the first series at home.
Yeah.
Give me some reasons for optimism here that they can start to get into the swing of things. No pun intended.
Well, okay, I'll give you a quick one. I mean, the Guardians don't score runs like the Mariners. They're built pretty similar. However, the pitching's going to be tough. And they ran into some tough pitching against the Pirates. Pitching's going to be tough. And one thing you want to see from them in the first game in this series, show a little bit of fight at bat number 3, at bat number 4 against a really tough bullpen. You do that, I think that's going to help kind of turn this thing around. That's going to be really, really important. But they're a tough team. They don't score a whole lot of runs. They're missing Jose Ramirez right now, which is a huge loss. I mean, last year he made up like a ridiculous. You take him out of the lineup, and their OPS was like a historic low, right? And their slug was a historic low as well. So that's a leg up. Now, I say that, but man, pitching is going to be tough against how we're hitting right now, and the bullpen is going to be tough. But if you can do something in the 6th, 7th, 8th inning against this bullpen, I'm telling you, that will be a situation you get back on that plane and play the Angels and feel much better about where you're at.
He's Mariners analyst Ryan Rowland-Smith. Thanks, Ryan.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thanks, guys.
A couple more minutes here before we get to the things sticking with us from this week, which will be a ton of Mariners, but some Seahawks stuff too. I think the most interesting thing of our conversation with Ryan was the mental stuff, and he's experienced that, so it's always really cool to have the insight of former players. I will be thinking for a while about his point about, where the negativity has a danger of spreading. It's in the little workouts and the BP and the little conversations that happen when you're on the bus or the plane, or it's just a couple guys hanging out and they start to go, you know what our problem is? That guy. You know what our problem is? That coach. You know what our problem is? This. Because it's such a human thing to do. It's so easy to do. And I was just thinking, God, I think Ryan's right in that, like, I don't know that there are a ton of finger pointers on this team. I think that, frankly, they're looking around the AL West going, like, I don't know that we're in danger here. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I don't know how to describe it. Knowing how perilous it is, that's what stuck with me.
Right.
Knowing how perilous it is and how quickly that can change based purely, you can have a talented team based purely on finger pointing is fascinating insight.
I think that's a very interesting thing you bring up, Stacey, because it reminds me of the 2018 Mariners finished 89-73. They were competitive right up until the very end, as a lot of those Mariners teams were in that time span.
A classic Mariners.
Where they would be
up until the end.
They'd be in it until like they faced Toronto for whatever reason. That was like a house of horrors for them over the span of like 3 or 4 years, where that would be where their season would really hit the skids. But that season sticks out to me because even though they were racking up the wins, you had late in the year, infamously, a clubhouse fight between Gene Segura and D. Strange Gordon. Not to say that anything like that is going on in this Mariners clubhouse.
No,
by all imagination, everything's fine in that Mariners clubhouse. I've been in it. Like I can't really tell if anybody's.
I think we would have heard rumors about it and been talking around it right now.
But like those two guys came to blows at one point in that clubhouse. And even with the wins piling up, it was clear that something was wrong with that team. And then in the weeks after that, there was always this awkwardness between like everybody where it's like, how do you walk into a room knowing that these two guys right here have come to blows, have come to fisticuffs? Because that's just a really awkward spot to be in.
Well, and there are people that point to that Percy Harvin Golden Tate fight ahead of the Super Bowl and go, see, you can still have that kind of discord and succeed. But it's like, well, wait a minute.
That following season, it got to a breaking point.
Yes,
it was too toxic.
Yes, but also Percy Harvin was not really a part of this team for chunks of the season.
Right.
The team was so good. And, like, if that fight would have happened in week 1 and then continued to spread, maybe we're not talking about that. Also, I think that football players inherently are dealing with, both football and baseball players are going to deal with mental obstacles and toxicity in a locker room or in a clubhouse, but are dealing with it in different ways. With baseball players, there is a lot of daily interactions every single day and a lot of monotony, and those things I think have a danger of building subtly over time. With like a football locker room,
you have a week in between games.
Yeah, not like you're not around each other all the time, but like a win resets you in a different way.
Yes.
Now, I also just fundamentally don't think that like that toxicity, even if you're a really good team, can just thrive. But like again, that the Golden Tate, Percy Harvin one's like, well, that was before the Super Bowl. It's crazy that they did that, but like that wasn't a week in, week out, day in, day out. Those two are fighting. Other people are fighting. It's a huge mess. Like I don't think you can have that kind of cancer in a locker room. So I feel encouraged that I feel like Ryan was trying to make it clear of like, I don't know every single thing, but like, I don't think the guys here are like that.
Right.
But that is always the danger that you have to watch out for. You have to always, always, always. Now, who am I to quote Geno Smith? But you do have to always.
He's in his own world of trouble right now.
He's in his own world of trouble, but you do have to, I fear, instead of being a finger pointer, be a thumb pointer.
There we go.
And that is he did cook with that one. And
I think Geno needs to be a thumb pointer right now.
A little, definitely a little bit, But I think that's probably the approach you always have to have as an athlete, because that can spread. What's sticking with us? Coming your way next.
Have you downloaded the Seattle Sports app?
We're going to have a challenge right here.
What are you waiting for?
Listen to this.
Every pitch.
Here comes the 3-2.
Every game.
Swung on and missed. Got him.
One app for free.
How about that, folks?
The Seattle Sports app. Every game.
Julio racing back.
Right in the palm of your hands.
Makes a leap and makes the catch.
Plus the latest Mariners news, insider access, video, and podcasts.
They got it. Wow.
The Seattle Sports app.
Thinking about upgrading your water heater? Snohomish PUD can help. Right now, you can get $1,000 back when you install a qualifying heat pump water heater. These systems use far less energy than standard electric tanks, which means lower electric bills for you. Oh, nice. Choose an eligible model, apply for your rebate within 90 days, and get cash back from PUD. Learn more at snowpud.com/rebates.
30 years ago, Davis Law Group was founded to be the best law firm for our clients and our community. Our core values are to win, help, and serve. It means our success is defined by the difference we make in our clients' lives and the impact we can have in our community, not by giant settlement checks or shiny offices. Our mission to lift up the vulnerable extends beyond the courtroom to our charity partners, promoting safety, uplifting students, accident victims, foster youth, and the elderly. If you've been injured and want better results for your claim and for all of Washington, call Davis Law Group today.
Step inside and let the excitement take you places. This is Muckleshoot Casino Resort, the ultimate spot for action that reaches incredible heights, luxury that knows no bounds, and live entertainment that always thrills. It's all at one incredible destination. So when you look for the best, look nowhere else. Muckleshoot Casino Resort, the biggest and best in the Northwest. Muckleshoot.
So, how's your research going?
Surprising. After I figured out the top-rated TVs in our price range, I went shopping for deals.
And who's the best?
It wasn't the internet, and it wasn't the warehouse club.
But
it was video only. They had better deals on the Samsung, LG, and the Sony TVs that got the highest scores.
better than online and at the club?
I know! Video only beat them all. And now we can afford an even better model for the same price. My research really paid off.
If we buy it video only.
Exactly. Otherwise, we'll be sorry.
At Video Only, you won't find huge stores with refrigerators or microwaves, but you will find the best deals on top-rated TVs, soundbars, and monitors. Shop around. Just make sure you visit Video Only, because if you don't,
you'll be sorry.
In South Center, Bellevue, Linwood, Federal Way, and Tacoma, Video Only.
Brock Ewart here with my buddy Shannon O'Kelly from IRG Physical and Hand Therapy. Shannon, we met about a decade ago when you came into the studio, and at that point, IRG was humming, but you were not 40 locations strong all over the neighborhood. How have you done this, and why?
Number one, Brock, great people. Our strength here at IRG is our people. Secondly, we are a company that has a culture of giving back and taking care of our patients, taking care of our team, and thirdly, taking care of our community. We want to be your family physical therapist. More importantly, we want to be your family's neighborhood physical therapist. We want you to come in, have a great experience, and get better and get out there and be pain-free and function.
Take care of your friends. Taking care of your neighbors, taking care of your community, and taking care of Western Washington. With over 40 locations now, that's exactly what IRG Physical and Hand Therapy is doing. Find them in person, find them online at irgpt.com. That's irgpt.com.
Long days call for lots of golf. Hey, it's Graz here, encouraging you to book a tee time between 5 a.m. and 8 p.m. at your local premier course, like Bellevue, Bill Wright, Cedar Crest, Inner Bay, Jackson Park, Lake Padden, Legion Memorial, Linwood, and Walter Hall. In Western Washington, you're never far from a premier course. It accommodates all skill levels, and with affordable rates, you can book a tee time and truly enjoy the summer. If you're not in the mood for walking, play Top Tracer at the range at Inner Bay, Bill Wright, and Jackson Park. Play the courses. Play Premier.
Progressive knows it ain't easy navigating the open plains of home insurance, but there is one man who can help tame that wild herd of options. The Home Quote Explorer.
Note, Progressive's Home Quote Explorer is not a real person, but an online tool that lets you compare home insurance.
He's the type of fella who helps you decide on the right insurance, even if it ain't with him.
Again, not a person, just an online tool that helps you find great home coverage.
A real pioneer.
Okay, fine. Just do the thing. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
The Mariners dropped their series to the Pirates yesterday, but look to get right with another series, this one against the Cleveland Guardians, beginning today at 4:10 p.m. Luis Castillo on the mound. Pregame show starts at 3 right here on Seattle Sports.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is brought to you by Mazda of Everett.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. It's Friday. Happy Friday. Hoping for the Mariners to get right and turn this week around. But while we take a look back, let's talk about everything we learned. What's sticking with us? Our Friday segment talking about our most insightful interviews, the quotes, the moments that we're still kind of thinking about days later. Let's go to an interview that you and I had with Tim Kurkjian. Curtis? And
this one got a lot of people.
This one got a lot of people,
up.
but for two reasons. One, there were some people going, we already knew that. And two, there were people going, well, now that's interesting. So you're going to have one of those two reactions. But I think that the definitive tone Tim took here while speaking with someone presumably within the Mariners was interesting. We asked him what was up with Cal Raleigh.
I just saw the Mariners the other day in Baltimore, and I'm not making excuses for anybody, especially a guy who's hitting 164. But when I ask somebody I trust on the Mariners, what happened to Cal? This is right before he was coming off the injured list. And he said the WBC killed him. And this is not to blame anybody at the WBC, please. But the way it works in the WBC, Cal Raleigh, according to my source, got 9 at-bats in 2 weeks. And that's just not good enough in spring training when you really need as many at-bats as possible to get your swing.
A bit more on that.
If you're not taking 4 at-bats a game or 4 every other game, you're hitting in the cage constantly because that's what players do now. It's unbelievable how much they hit. I think they hit way too much. But at the WBC, there was not a facility there where Cal Raleigh, who's not starting tonight, can go in and hit at 1. He can hit at 4. He can take BP before the game, and he can hit after the game if he wants to. So, again, that was the explanation to me. That was the reason he got off to such a bad start, is that he was thrown out of kilter from the WBC.
Speaking of Raleigh, lineup out today. He's hitting 3rd. Was moved back a spot. Arozarena leading off. Rodriguez, Raleigh, can zone. Nice spot for him. Your DH today. Naylor, Crawford, Refsnyder, and Wright, Young, Emerson, Castillo on the mound. I think they did it because I said to.
That's exactly it.
I think so, too.
They were like, man, this midday show,
this girl that's not
they
qualified,
know what they're talking about.
She gets it.
So I guess we have no choice.
I'll say this, Mariners. You want to hire me to the front office? We're talking 5-digit salary. So get out the checkbook.
I am intrigued seeing Arozarena bat leadoff today, especially against a lefty.
I like that.
Randy, I know in the past has maybe expressed some hesitancy about being the leadoff hitter, but you're also been the most consistent guy in the lineup all season long. And I think against the lefty, this is definitely an experiment worth trying.
That was a bit of lineup news I wanted to get
or
in
against
quickly.
a righty, I should say.
Yeah.
He's not batting against a lefty.
But let's get back to this.
Or actually,
point.
no, yeah, Cantillo is a lefty, I believe. Yeah.
Who cares?
Well, we got to get, he's a left-handed pitcher.
Okay, Curtis wants to make sure.
Yes, he's left-handed.
I gotta get back to Cal.
Okay.
No, I'm glad that we actually clarified that. Here's what I think is interesting about what Tim said. One, the source. He didn't say who it was, obviously, but this wasn't just like, I was talking with Jeff Passan, and Jeff Passan thinks it's the WBC. This is someone who presumably knows Cal. I don't know if it's a reporter. I don't know if it's someone within the organization.
I think he said within the Mariners organization.
Yeah, knows the impact that it would have had. The second thing that I think is most interesting to me about it, Curtis, is the WBC was months and months and months ago. And so I think people are going, well, you've had that time. How is that, how does that affect anything?
Let me tell you something about baseball slumps.
Let me tell you about something about baseball slumps.
They can last for days.
Yes.
They can last for weeks. They can last for months.
And they can be more than just, I'm not seeing it right.
Mm-hmm.
Think about Cal's WBC experience. It's not just that he didn't get those reps in spring training.
He had to deal with a PR
nightmare and was benched.
Right.
Like, think about I think that outside of the lack of reps, there was a mental holdover.
Yeah, I think so. I think it would have taken a toll on anybody what he went through in the WBC. Having just a really hard time getting his timing down, and he went 0 for 9 in those at-bats. Did have, I think, 4 walks in the WBC, but still, that's not the production that anybody was expecting from him, especially because that was the first competitive baseball we had seen from him since his 60 home run season. The expectation was that he was going to continue clobbering home runs and be a really big force in that Team USA lineup. It wasn't the case then. And then obviously you had the situation with Randy where did Cal purposely snub Randy Arozarena? Did Randy get offended? Obviously, yes to both of those things. And Cal was just kind of following Team USA orders at that point. But that whole situation blew up to a degree that I don't think anybody had anticipated it would, to where, we're leading off shows with it for 4 or 5 days in a row.
It was an interesting story.
It was, for sure. But that's a lot for a guy to deal with who has never had any sort of like PR slip-ups in his entire career. Like you look at Cal Raleigh, and he has been so polished in front of the mic. He has been so, well spoken of by everybody.
He'd never been hated.
Exactly.
Not that he was hated, but like.
But people were kind of like, dude, what the heck, man?
You'd never had that level of fame followed by that level of criticism and scorn.
It was, I think, a lot for him, especially how quickly everything kind of spiraled.
Now you're a 29-year-old. You're a professional player. Mm-hmm. You're getting paid a lot of money to play this game. And I think he seems like a responsible person. This isn't making excuses. I think it's adding an intriguing layer to the conversation about what's happening.
Yeah.
There is a silver lining here. More from that same source.
The same source told me he's going to crush it the second half. That's what he told me. And I believe that because this game is so difficult to play that when your timing is off or anything is off, you go from a great player to a not very good player overnight. And it happens all the time. Whereas the great NBA jump shooters don't shoot 50% from the floor one year and 18% the next. But it happens in baseball all the time. So you asked, where can the Mariners go? They can win the division without Cal Raleigh being close to the 2025 player because he's still going to be a way above average player, especially behind the plate, and they have great pitching.
So once again, Tim Kirkjian Curtis saying that same source told me he expects Cal Raleigh to take off in the season's second half, and I believe him. And you know what? I believe him too, whoever that person is, because I will stand by this. I think this team is so much better. I did not have a bunch of complaints when the season started. I looked at Mariners decision makers, and while every single year I'm going to go, yeah, I wish they spent more, I thought, great, you got Naylor. Yeah. And you made it a priority, and you have this great team that's coming back. I loved what they did last year, and I was encouraged about this team, and I still think they're a good team. I don't care that you disagree. You don't, but, like, I've just seen a couple people texting in saying they're not good. I'm not there yet, man.
Right.
But
I can see the makings of a good
exactly.
team.
I see the vision,
yeah.
and I also agree that Cal is too talented. Now, he's not going to be last year's Cal, but he is too talented to be a 167 hitter for the next 3 months. You're telling me for 3 months Cal's going to be struggling like this?
I have a hard time seeing that. What I hope happens, and I think Jesse Rogers kind of pointed to this when we had him on to start off hour 2 of the show today, so make sure you're checking that out at the podcast page. But just kind of what Julio went through last year, where he did get voted into he got selected in the All-Star game and then chose to sit out the All-Star game and sit out all the festivities because he was just like, I don't feel like I've deserved this nomination, and I just want to get right for the season's second half. I'm going to take this time for myself and really kind of recollect things and pick it up in the second half because I know I can be better than this. And I don't think Cal's getting selected in the All-Star game. I think that ship has long sailed. But these 4 days off that are coming in a couple of weeks or like 3 weeks or so, like I can't imagine there's a Mariner out there looking more forward to this time off than Cal Raleigh, just because of how lost this first half has been. And he just needs probably some time to kind of clear his head, clear his thoughts, get out of that daily grind that he's been in for, the better part of 81 games now.
Mm-hmm.
Like this has been a lot for him. So I think him kind of being able to get out of the grind of the season for a little bit while in season, I hope it does have the same kind of benefit that it did for Julio last year, because Julio in the second half was phenomenal. He was awesome. And the Mariners are going to need Cal Raleigh to be awesome if they want to go out and win a World Series.
A bit more here. We had Jordan Schusterman on talking about the possibility of a Castillo trade, or kind of like, hey, what do you do about this current 6-man rotation that feels like it's not going to last into the second half? Oh, cut 16. Well, 16 or 17. I like both, Matt, if you could play that.
This is not like sourced or anything, but like I do think that Castillo is the pitcher most likely to get traded this season among the Mariners. I think after the year, you could see them exploring, once we really are like, okay, Kate Anderson, like we're not just going to force you to be in Arkansas forever. Maybe George Kirby could be in that conversation too as he approaches free agency, depending on how he finishes the season. Castillo's just hard. To your point, it's like, who's going to take on that salary? It's not that much and that many years. And to that point, I think that he could still be in play for teams that right now are willing to spend on pitching and are willing to probably not, if they're willing to take on that contract, which isn't necessarily that long, they might not have to cough up that many prospects to get him. But I still think that they'd rather just keep as much depth as possible.
Castillo starting tonight, so a fitting conversation, Curtis. What do you think happens with him this year?
I think he is on this Mariners roster even past the trade deadline. I don't know if there is a team willing to take on the rest of his deal right now, considering what he has been as a starting pitcher this year. Even if a team is desperate for starting pitching like that, you got to be in a very desperate spot if you're willing to take on the rest of his deal, because right now his numbers, ERA north of 5 plus
5.22.
Yeah, and then a contract where he's locked in for the next 2 years after this year.
24 per.
That's a lot for a team to invest in a guy who we don't quite know. But you and I talked about it a little bit earlier this week and how there is an opportunity for the Mariners to get out from Luis Castillo's contract. Now, you're going to have to go through some pretty tough labor negotiations here over the course of the offseason. And if that happens, then maybe Luis Castillo is still with you, even into however long, a potential lockout could happen. We're talking, February, March, what have you. But if there is indeed a salary floor coming, then that is an option. That's an avenue you could explore where, hey, this guy's owed $24 million over the next 2 seasons. Your team is $100 million under the salary floor.
Yeah, that was an interesting point.
Then maybe he becomes a guy that some of those teams that are significantly down in terms of payroll rankings, maybe they look at it and say, well, there's a guy who has been a really good pitcher in the recent history. Mm-hmm. So maybe that's somebody that we could bring in just to kind of raise our floor a little bit. And if he's bad, he's bad. Okay, whatever. We're not a great team. But if he's good, then all of a sudden, then there's value for Castillo. There's value for that team, and the Mariners were able to get out from underneath that salary.
Let's move away from the Mariners for our final cut here and what's sticking with us and go to the Seahawks. Sam Darnold's appearance on Bussin' with the Boys. He said he has one regret from the Super Bowl.
I didn't play great in the Super Bowl. I missed way too many throws, and we still won. Our defense balled out, and I didn't turn the ball over, which helped. But dude, to win the Super Bowl that way, I was kind of bummed. You know what I mean? I want to freaking score.
That's the true competitor's mentality.
I want to score 40 points. You know what I mean? I want to go out there and ball out, and it's just dang, I didn't play my best football in the Super Bowl. That sucks.
Now, Curtis, this is part of what's sticking with us. So I'll say that my big sports analysis reason that this is sticking with me, I really like Sam Darnold. He's so likable.
He really is.
He really is.
He's got a self-awareness to him that you don't really see out of many quarterbacks. Now, we only know the Sam Darnold version that steps up to the podium each and every week, but based off of, some recent quarterbacks here in Seattle, I can't imagine many of them would admit to having felt bad about their Super Bowl performance.
Yeah. Well, we've also had people tell us, I'm not going to get specific with off-air conversations, but he's well-liked.
Yeah.
And funny.
True. Whereas some other quarterbacks in this town, we've heard off-air conversations where
that are a bit different. That are different.
Yeah.
They were off-air.
I think having a quarterback that guys in the locker room can relate to, it goes so far. And having a guy that players will be like, I'll play for this guy any single day. Ernest Jones, we know how he feels about Sam Darnold. Shaquille Griffin, when he was here last year, had played with him in Minnesota and has said, yeah, it's the same guy. He's been beloved in both places. That's exactly who he is every single time. You gotta respect Sam Darnold's ability to kind of be the same dude, especially after just the peaks and valleys of his career, where he was a number 3 overall pick, an extremely high, and then having the extremely low lows of playing with the Jets, and then building himself back up to now he's a Super Bowl champ. and still being able to be that same kind of goofy guy in a way, that same Southern California bro that he is. I respect the heck out of that, and I think the Seahawks have a really good thing. Now, last week we heard Bill Barnwell say, like, you know, he might be in line for a payday of like $52 to $55 million. I'm not so hesitant about paying him that as I would maybe some other quarterbacks that are kind of on the same level as him, just because I know that the money that he would get in that kind of payday, I feel like wouldn't change him a whole lot.
That's a good take. Let's get to 4 down territory.
This is 4 down territory, going inside the game with former Seahawks and Coug wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
All right, Stacy, the Seahawks are still being disrespected. Give us the latest.
This might actually make you guys pretty upset because I saw it and went, really? I wasn't bothered, but I just disagreed with it. ESPN's Bill Barnwell, speaking of Bill Barnwell, friend of the show, great guy, really smart dude. He ranked all the skill position groups, so running backs, wide receivers, tight ends. In the NFC West, the Seahawks were 4th. Curtis, there are 4 teams in the NFC West. Not a lot of people know this. That means they had, according to him, the worst ranked skill position group. This is not him saying the Seahawks have the worst skill position group in football at all. This is him saying, look, the Rams have Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, led all wide receivers in touchdowns last year. Puka was second to JSN in yards, really likes their running back room, which was such an underrated part of their, not ultimate Super Bowl win, but certainly success last year. And also partial to their tight end room. The 49ers got credit for adding Mike Evans. Obviously, George Kittle, probably the best tight end of the 4 teams that we'll be looking at. I don't know that there's like a strong case to make for the Seahawks to be behind the Cardinals is my thing. If you wanted to say, hey, I got some questions about the running back room. So as brilliant as JSN is and as impressive as A.J. Barner's last season was, I just got question marks, so I'm going to hold off on putting them in the top 1 or even top 2 spots. Okay, I think I could understand that. But the Cardinals' position groups feel entirely based on potential as well. Trey McBride is their best piece. I think that JSN has been more impactful than Trey McBride. Obviously, the latter out of the tight end room. Not Jahmyr Gibbs. Tyler Algier was a great addition for their running back room, and I was so envious when I saw that signing because I badly wanted him in that physical style of play here in Seattle. But that's, again, purely based on potential. He has not played with the Cardinals. That is a new outside addition in free agency. So I'm not sure why the Seahawks are getting knocked for unanswered questions and the Cardinals are not. I don't know. I don't think it's a clear-cut case there.
2nd down. There was an interesting name that popped up on the NFL's top 100 players list. Who was it? And if it's not a Seahawk, why should Seahawks fans care?
There was a Seahawk there, Ernest Jones at 97, but the player I'm talking about here is not a Seahawk. It's Browns linebacker Carson Schweschinger. I always mess up his last name. I'm going to power through. Who came in at number 93. That's fantastic. He was amazing for Cleveland last year, and it's why he won Defensive Rookie of the Year over Nick Emanwari, who was the runner-up there. I thought it was interesting, though, because did I miss Nick Emanwari on this list? Am I totally overlooking
He
this?
has not appeared on it
he
yet.
has not appeared on this list. They only have 100 through 90 right now. Now, if he debuts on the list, it will be with a higher ranking than the person who beat him for Defensive Rookie of the Year. I don't think that makes either award or honor, in the case of the NFL list, hypocritical, because obviously the people who voted for Rookie of the Year aren't also putting this list together. It's not anything like that. I just think it makes it interesting. It makes it an interesting conversation that a player who was not Defensive Rookie of the Year would be presumably ranked higher in terms of impact or importance on this separate list than someone who was.
Do you think Diana Rossini also altered the Rookie of the Year voting too? The way she did the MVP voting?
Totally. No.
3rd down. Who do we need to give a shout out to today?
Shout out to Mike McDonald. It's his birthday. He's 39 years old. And yet another reminder of how young
Coach.
he is. Not even 40, already won a Super Bowl with his team. It also made me look up Sean McVay's age. I don't know why I was convinced he was still in his 30s as well. He was so young when he started, obviously. But Curtis, you're right. He is officially 40. Turned 40 earlier this year.
He did. 39 years old. 27-10 career record if you include the postseason. I mean, you couldn't have asked for a better start to a head coaching career. I mean, he's only 2 years in. It took Sean McVay a lot longer to win a Super Bowl, right? I think he was probably in year 4, year 5.
21 was the Super Bowl win. 2017?
I think 2017 was his first year.
Was his
it took
first
him
year,
like 4 years, yeah.
But what was the Super Bowl appearance? What year was the loss to the Patriots? 18. So 1 year in, you appeared there. That's pretty impressive.
But
not the same as appearing there and winning.
Not winning.
No, it's different.
Not the same as winning it. Yeah. Sorry, buddy.
Let's skip this last one.
Oh, that's a cute little Super Bowl appearance.
Yeah,
in year 2.
Not quite.
You get a trophy?
Yeah.
No? Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh. Happy birthday, Mike McDonald. Get your questions in for What I Need to Know, 866-979-3776. Any question, text it now. It's coming up at 1:45. Coming up next, I want to check in on the latest with Brendan Donovan.
Have you downloaded the Seattle Sports app?
We're going to have a challenge right here.
What are you waiting for?
Listen to this.
Every pitch.
Here comes the 3-2.
Every game.
Swung on and missed. Got him.
One app for free.
How about that, folks?
The Seattle Sports app. Every game.
Julio racing back.
Right in the palm of your hands.
Makes a leap and makes the catch.
Plus the latest Mariners news, insider access, video, and podcasts.
They got it. Wow.
The Seattle Sports app.
I've been talking about my experience being on the Arc Sport, which is a fully electric wake boat, for about 2 months now. I had a ton of fun trying it out on the water. It was truly unlike any boat I've ever seen. But instead of just talking about it all the time or answering questions, I think what I'm going to do instead is let you know that you can try it for yourself. It's really easy and it's free and an excellent way to enjoy this beautiful summer weather. Go to arcboats.com/demo, arcboats.com/demo. Fill out the form. Get out on the water. Again, I could talk about these features all day long. The heated seats, the retractable tower, the touchscreen dash, low maintenance. But you really do have to see and experience it for yourself, and you can. Book a demo. It's easy. It's free. Even better, they'll pick you up on Lake Washington, Lake Union, or Lake Sammamish if you can't come to them in Kirkland. Go to arcboats.com/demo. Fill out the form and get out on the water. Arc, you have to see it to believe it.
The Johnsons always talk about an orientation meeting. Their dad and grandpa, they always maintain that it's a people business.
Lee Johnson Auto Family, the LJ way.
Upgrade your home with Lake Washington Windows and Doors. Be among the first 40 June projects to sign up for 5 or more installed windows and receive a free patio door. Plus, enjoy 12 months no interest, no payments financing. LakeWashingtonWindows.com.
Guys, tired all the time? Gaining weight? Low drive? These aren't just signs of aging. They could be low testosterone or other underlying issues. This June, for Men's Health Month, Revive Men's Health in Seattle is offering a free comprehensive wellness panel, a $400 value. It checks your testosterone, blood sugar, cholesterol, kidney, liver, thyroid, and heart health. No guessing, just answers. Over 100,000 men have trusted Revive to get real results. More energy, better sleep, improved mood, and confidence that shows. If something feels off, don't wait. Take control and protect your long-term health by knowing your numbers. This offer ends June 30th. Schedule your free comprehensive wellness panel today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com. Feel better. Live stronger. Start now.
For those diagnosed with anxiety, depression, or PTSD, Northwest Ketamine Clinics wants you to know there is hope. After only 3 weeks of treatment, 86% of patients report a reduction in symptoms. Northwest Ketamine Clinics was the first ketamine clinic in the Northwest, opened 9 years ago. They now have locations in Seattle, Tacoma, and Bellevue, with more than 50,000 treatments given. Find reviews and video testimonials from real patients on their website, including Brandon.
To anyone thinking about giving it a try, if you have depression, ADHD, bipolar, any of those things feel like they would vastly benefit from it.
Everyone's path to healing is different. Schedule a free consultation today to find out if ketamine therapy is right for you. They have immediate availability, so you can get started this week. Welcome to the Pacific Northwest's most experienced ketamine center. Book a free phone or video consult at nwketamineclinics.com. Healing starts here.
Mariners and Guardians this afternoon in Cleveland. 4:10 first pitch, 3 o'clock pregame. Every pitch, every game, one app for free. The Seattle Sports app.
There's always something new at LeMay, America's Car Museum in Tacoma. Explore the all-new British Motorcycle Exhibition and the thrilling American Supercar Showcase. Fuel up at the brand-new cafe, then buckle up on the most advanced racing simulators anywhere. Plus exciting events in July. First Responders Appreciation Day on the 11th. Drive-in movie night on the 24th. Tacoma Cars and Coffee with a Hot Wheels track on the 25th. And cruise in on the 30th. Bring the family and see what's new. AmericasCarMuseum.org.
Do Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keep coming back? Tremfya, guselkumab, may help, with rapid remission achieved at 12 weeks and lasting clinical remission at 1 year. Some even saw visible improvement of their intestinal lining at 12 weeks and 1 year. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Healing is possible with Tremfya. Approximately 3 out of 10 patients were in endoscopic remission at 1 year, based on areas visualized on colonoscopy, which may not represent the deeper bowel layer or entire GI tract. Individual results may vary. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
Pests and poor insulation have something in common. One call to Eastside Exterminators takes care of both. For more than 50 years, families across Western Washington have trusted Eastside Exterminators to eliminate pests for good and protect homes from crawl space to attic. With dedicated insulation services and the state's only smart pest detection technology. From Everett to Federal Way, one call handles it all. 425-482-2271 or visit eastsideexterminators.com. Eastside Exterminators, family first pest control. This hour is brought to you by Mazda of Everett.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bump and Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
What I need to know coming your way in 15 minutes. Get those questions in. Any question top of mind, 866-979-3776. So I actually did this segment, swapped it around last minute, inspired by a question that we got. I just thought that, if I put this in what I need to know, I feel like we're going to spend the whole time on it. So why don't we get some fun stuff for what I need to know and spend a little more time on this question right now. Someone said, hey, what's the latest on Brendan Donovan? And I know that there's a quick way to answer this, Curtis, but I'm more interested in, A, what's the latest with Brendan Donovan? And B, can Brendan Donovan really help this team? What are fair expectations for Brendan Donovan? Like, what is he going to bring when he's back here? Because for you, certainly, and for many others, he was such an important part of this team becoming more complete in the offseason. And you just haven't been able to feel that presence.
Well, and when he was playing to start this season, he was one of your most consistent bats and a guy who was hitting exactly how you wanted him to hit, an OPS plus of 140, OPS of 839, 3 home runs early on. Like, he was exactly what the Mariners had hoped he would be when acquiring him from the St. Louis Cardinals. Like, that was it. And when he was healthy and in the lineup to start the season, you didn't have a single worry about him. In fact, he was one of the only bats that was like actually consistently producing to start the year. Is that going to be the same bat you get coming back? Well, I mean, his numbers to start this season very much in line with what he's done throughout his entire career. So I do kind of wonder if his bat will still be a really good bat to have in this lineup. I also kind of wonder, will his growing injury and the sports hernia that he had operated on, will that allow him to play the field as much as maybe they had hoped he would? Remains to be seen, because I think Donovan's biggest value to the team is in his flexibility, is in his ability to play other positions. And if you don't have that, and if he's simply your DH, I don't know if you're going to get as much out of the DH spot with him not necessarily being a guy with a lot of thump in his bat. I mean, he's got the 3 home runs, but historically he has not been a power hitter by really any
with the
stretch
team
of
that
imagination.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but
No.
I wanted you to answer this. With a team, I have so many questions. I was so eager to pounce on it. With a team that struggles with runners in scoring position, if I'm assuming that power may eventually come from Cal or Julio or Randy, not that Randy has those home run numbers, but like this is a team that even in a stretch where they were barely above water in the American League West, was still top 10 and pushing into top 5 in home runs.
Yeah.
And we're, I think, third in home runs, third or fourth over a 30-day span. I don't necessarily worry about home runs. I am curious in not the thump, but just contact that Donovan could bring. Could that still be there?
Yeah, I think so.
Like, I know we think of a DH as like it's Kyle Schwarber, but like what if a DH is just, hey, can you drive in this guy on third?
Well, I think there's value in those guys across Major League Baseball. I know that the value of like Luis Arias has dipped in a lot of years, but you look at what Luis Arias has done this season. I get it's been for a really horrible San Francisco Giants team, but he's still hitting 321. And I feel like that kind of performance should still have some value in Major League Baseball. I mean, he's going to be probably threatening for a National League batting title this season, even though, you know, he doesn't play great defense. He's not going to hit for a lot of home runs, but I mean, just the ability to get a hit is so like lost in today's game where everybody's looking for, you know, home runs and, you know, walks, and then, you know, you'll take the strikeout or whatever. But like there is a lot to be said for anybody that can come up and just get a base knock and keep the line moving, because at the end of the day,
Blue Jays team.
Exactly. At the end of the day, who is more likely to do consistent damage, I guess, in a spot where you absolutely need a hit? Somebody like Brendan Donovan, or somebody like, I'm trying to think of a guy who just is a 3 true outcome guy, you know, historically like Joey Gallo, somebody like that. Like, yes, Gallo will run into one and hit a grand slam every now and then, or hit a 3-run home run, whatnot, but consistently, it's going to be those guys that are just really good contact guys. I mean, heck, J.P. Crawford last year, so good in the clutch, always up in a big spot and always coming through.
Yeah.
And he's always been a really good contact hitter. So, yeah, I think Donovan's ability to just put the bat on the ball is one that's pretty rare anymore in today's game.
I just kept thinking about it last year with Toronto, which led all teams in hits during the regular season, and I think was a trend that continued in the postseason. If not, then they were too. And it's not like they didn't have power. Like, we know that they did, but it was, how often were we talking about 7, 8, 9 for them? How often were we talking about, you know, Clement or whoever it was, like just, hey, this guy came up big and this guy came up big. And while I think if we're piecing together the problems for Seattle in the ALCS, pitching is probably number one, and kind of pitching breakdowns and meltdowns, but not driving in runners and not quite finishing any kind of rally is also part of it to me. And Donovan wasn't like the number one ad on my list heading into the offseason, but what I was really intrigued by is the idea of adding someone who, hey, if we were to go back in time and watch this game, 7 ALCS, does a guy like that change anything? And if I felt like the answer was yes, then I was excited about it. But, like, can he do that when he's back? He's been – this is not a healthy Brendan Donovan. This is a Brendan Donovan who's been gone for how long? Since Cal was on the IL? So, going on 6 weeks?
Brendan Donovan last played May 15th, and prior to that had an IL stint that kept him out for about 3 weeks as well. He was on the IL from April 17th to May 8th. So he has played since April 17th a grand total of 7 games. 1 game at home. He has played one
Since
game
what
in
date?
Seattle. Since April 17th, Brendan Donovan has played 7 games. That's going to be really tough for everybody, especially in that clubhouse, because, like, this was your acquisition. This was your biggest move of the offseason, was getting him. Yeah, extending Josh Naylor was also a big move.
In terms of a trade, though.
But, yeah, in terms of outside acquisition, this was the guy. And, you know, he was brought in to replace Jorge Polanco's production. And what's a cruel twist in all of this is that Jorge Polanco has been out for darn near the same amount of time that Brendan Donovan's been out. So
yeah,
it's
you
not
didn't make a mistake moving on from Polanco, but the problem is that the replacement guy was hurt also.
Yeah, so basically Polanco and Donovan have been just non-factors for their teams this year outside of a handful of games. I mentioned it with you this week that this has been my biggest what if of the season. I still feel that way because you're looking at an 839 OPS. You extrapolate that over 81 games so far this season. That's going to be a bat that does damage and also has value in the flexibility that he brings. You wouldn't have had to play Randy Arozarena out in the outfield so much. You wouldn't have, you'd be able to give guys like JP a day off instead of having to play him at third base.
You wouldn't have had to go to Wisdom or a couple other bats that were up here to fill in when
Connor
JP
Joe,
was hurt and Emerson was hurt. Yeah, like there would have been a rash of AAA players that wouldn't have had those ABs.
Yeah. So your season, I think, looks a lot different if Brendan Donovan is here for, heck, even 3/4 of the first half of the season, which I'm not mad at. I'm not mad at anybody for this. It's just an unfortunate thing, these lingering injuries that have kind of zapped him of what could, I think, have been a really special season here and have zapped him of an ability to kind of like introduce himself to Mariners fans where, we talked to Michelle Smallman at the Super Bowl, who is a St. Louis native and has watched the Cardinals her entire life, could not have given bigger praise to Brendan Donovan and his ability to play and his ability to endear himself to a fan base. I was really excited for that version of Brendan Donovan. Unfortunately, just haven't been able to see it.
So can he reintroduce himself in his return? It will be this season. We have not heard anything about hey, Donovan's not going to be able to come back this year. The expectation and the conversation has always been that he eventually does. Can we expect he can still contribute?
I think so. I think if he's back, I think he kind of picks up where he left off. Now, defensively, I don't know what his contributions are going to look like, but I think the bat will still play.
Get your questions in for What I Need to Know. Wrapping up the show by turning to texters. 866-979-3776. Sports, non-sports, doesn't matter. This next.
Think you know the Mariners? Not if you aren't subscribed to the Daily Mariners newsletter from Seattle Sports.
That's what they've been waiting for.
The latest Mariners news and injury updates, exclusives from Mariners insider Shannon Dreyer.
You look at the pieces and how it works.
Plus the best takes and breakdowns from your favorite Seattle Sports hosts and contributors.
The Mariners seem to be trying to build something that I think is a little bit more sustainable.
The Daily Mariners newsletter.
Monster solo home run.
Subscribe at seattlesports.com/newsletter.
So, how's your research going?
Surprising. After I figured out the top-rated TVs in our price range, I went shopping for deals.
And who's the best?
It wasn't the internet, and it wasn't the Warehouse Club.
But?
It was video only. They had better deals on the Samsung, LG, and the Sony TVs that got the highest scores.
Better than online and at the club?
I know! Video only beat them all. And now we can afford an even better model for the same price. My research really paid off.
If we buy it video only.
Exactly. Otherwise, we'll be sorry.
At Video Only, you won't find huge stores with refrigerators or microwaves, but you will find the best deals on top-rated TVs, soundbars, and monitors. Shop around. Just make sure you visit Video Only, because if you don't,
you'll be sorry.
In South Center, Bellevue, Linwood, Federal Way, and Tacoma, Video Only.
We live in one of the most beautiful places on Earth, and owning your own deck is a great way to enjoy it. But finding the right decking solution can be overwhelming. That's why all 9 of our Puget Sound locations offer decking showrooms so you can get your hands and toes on the more than 60 decking options we carry. So if you have any questions about building, maintaining, or repairing your deck, contact me personally. Mike Dunn at DunnLumber.com.
TimberTech Vintage Collection Decking. On sale now at Dunn Lumber.
June is Men's Health Month, and Swedish Cyberknife is encouraging men to talk about their own health with family members and medical professionals. Swedish Cyberknife can effectively treat conditions like prostate cancer, which can run in the family. Swedish Cyberknife requires only 5 short treatments, each lasting less than an hour. To learn more about Cyberknife for prostate cancer treatment, go to swedish.org/cyberknifeprostate. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish Cyberknife. Cyberknife.
Cyberknife is a registered trademark of Accuray Incorporated and is used with permission.
Less than 4 in 10 kids aged 6 through 12 are playing sports regularly. 4 in 10 kids? Let it sink in. Just 4 in 10 kids. ESPN is building a nationwide coalition powered by Disney called Take Back Sports, with the purpose of training more coaches, expanding access, and creating community-driven sports programming that puts kids and fun first. We're working on that story. We hope you'll join us.
Visit takebacksports.org to learn more.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/play. That's ethos.com/play. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Do you know a woman making a difference in Seattle's sports and events community? Someone who leads with purpose, mentors others, champions inclusion, and inspires those around her to be their best. Why Seattle and Seattle sports want to celebrate her. Nominations are now open for the 2026 Women of Inspiration Award, recognizing an outstanding woman whose impact is helping shape the future of sports and events in our region. Submit your nomination today at woiseattle.org. That's woiseattle.org. Nominations close July 10th.
Mariners and Guardians this afternoon in Cleveland. 4:10 first pitch, 3 o'clock pregame. Every pitch, every game, one app for free. The Seattle Sports app.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $3 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Find the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief today for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS like Will?
When I was 50, my whole life fell apart. I lost my job, I lost my wife, I lost the house, I lost pretty much everything except for my life. When the IRS came calling, I just didn't have it in me. I felt like Wile E. Coyote, just waiting for that IRS anvil to drop.
Then Will found Tax Relief Advocates.
I heard their advertisement on the radio, I wrote down the number, and I made the call that changed everything. The IRS gave me a bill for $40,000. Tax Relief Advocates got that down to $3,200. I've paid 9 cents on the dollar. Now that's a great deal in anybody's book.
If you owe 10 or even hundreds of thousands of dollars to the IRS, don't lose hope. Do what Will did and call TRA for a consultation.
But for me, the real win is I got my life back.
Visit TRA.com or call 800-488-2578. 800-488-2578. That's 800-488-2578.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Get your questions in for What I Need to Know, 866-979-3776. While I wait for a couple questions, I've actually been waiting for What I Need to Know because it was our non-sports moment for me to tell you a non-sports story. It will take 30 seconds. Did I already tell you my parents stole a cat?
Stole it? No.
Well, so it's not, they don't consider it stealing,
thing.
but here's what's happening. I don't know if your parents have done something like this or if anyone else listening has done something like this. They already have a thing with feeding any animal that comes on the porch. It's how we got into the entire Rick the Raccoon situation. That's how we got here. But where we're at right now is there was this cat that is presumably a neighbor's cat because this cat is not skinny, is what I'm going to say. This cat's well fed. And he kept showing up, and at first he was a little shy, and so my stepdad was like coaxing him with treats and food. And now they just put out food and water for the cat. They bought it a bed. And so my sister the other day texted them, and she said, hey, they live near each other, and she said, hey, we're going to be out of town on the 4th. Would you come over and watch our cat? And my stepdad said, I can't. We have our cat. What do you mean your cat?
You don't have a cat.
What do you mean?
That
belongs to
That's
somebody
else. It's probably chipped, yeah.
I'm sorry. Are you going to keep the cat in your house at night? You guys are stealing this cat. This belongs to someone else. So anyways, I'm currently arguing with them right now, telling them, like, if you don't know what's happening with the cat, take it to a vet and see if it's microchipped at the very least. Find out where the address is.
Right. Because I'm sure there's a family out there that's like, oh, we lost Fluffy.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, your parents are holding it hostage.
Yeah. This question, what I need to know. Where do you get off? Okay, what I need to know. Is the Kraken, I'm going to say are the Kraken, the NHL's version of the Jets?
No, not even close.
No.
The Jets have been bad for like 5 or 6 decades now.
And I think that's inherent to true mediocrity, right? What's like a newer franchise, not the Kraken? It could be
like the
any
Houston Texans or something.
Yeah, new enough. 2002 or so, something like that.
Yeah.
Around there, whatever. Yeah, like you're bad, but like there is when you have generational trauma, that's the Jets.
I would say you run the risk of becoming what the Hornets are in the NBA.
That's a great comparison.
Where like cool colors, cool logo, that's all your team is ever known for.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Charlotte Hornets have never even been to the conference finals, and there's been two versions of the Hornets, the one that existed in the 80s and 90s, and then they moved to New Orleans and then became the Pelicans. And then now you've got the Bobcats, who then became the Hornets. That version, I don't think has ever won a playoff series, if I'm not mistaken. They've been around since around like 2004, I want to say. So that is kind of the risk that the Kraken run, where it's like all you're ever known for is like a cool logo.
No, the Kraken are not Jets.
No.
I think the Hornets comp is perfect because it's about like you have to be aggressive and at a certain point decide to be very
right. And the Charlotte Hornets are not an aggressive team in acquiring superstars. They just traded away one of their best players.
A good point from the 360. The Kraken have actually made the playoffs more recently than the Jets. So
everybody has.
Yeah, I think we wrapped it up there. Do you have questions about, would you have concerns about the success of the future Sonics if they're owned by the Kraken ownership group?
I am not super comfortable with the current ownership group being the team that purchases an NBA expansion bid. But beggars can't be choosers. If the NBA is back in town, I will be happy with that, because obviously that's the biggest thing for the city of Seattle right now, is getting an NBA team back. But I kind of wonder what decision makers will be put in place in that organization. I don't want meekness. I don't want another Ron Francis, because I think Ron Francis set the Kraken back pretty far with his inability to go out and acquire star talent. And in the NBA, stars are way more important in terms of getting your team to the playoffs and getting them competitive than they are in any other sport.
Someone said, Salk was mentioning earlier on his show that the Golden Knights had different expansion rules than the Kraken. Do you know what the difference was? Wasn't it more about
it was the lack of
versus,
experience, because they hadn't had an expansion draft since I want to say like 2000,
so
2001.
Not quite strict rules where it's like at least from, I have a very elementary understanding. What I always assumed from people who know way more about hockey than me was that it was about other teams fine-tuning that approach and being smarter about how they handled it.
Yeah. I think the Kraken only had like 2 trades made on expansion draft day, whereas the Golden Knights, they were acquiring like first and second round picks from teams basically saying like, do not pick this guy. And the Golden Knights are like, well, we can't guarantee that. Can you throw in some incentive for us to not pick this guy? And they're like, all right, we'll give you our first round pick. It's like, okay. Yeah, gladly. The Kraken tried it, and a lot of teams were like, nope, we're not doing that again.
866-979-3776. Can you tell us again what that Kraken interview was all about? You said it would make us feel better, but I missed it.
Well, I don't know if it made you feel better.
It made me feel better.
Jeff Marek of Daily Faceoff, who's a friend of the show, we had him on because of the news yesterday that Dallas Stars player Jason Robertson turned down an 8-year, $120 million extension offer to join the Kraken, and then he nixed a trade that would have sent him to Seattle. So we asked Jeff, hey, that hurts, man. Not getting a star player and him telling us that he would not want to be in Seattle. And Jeff was like, well, hey, give the Kraken some credit for trying here. That's something they used to not do.
He also was really optimistic that Jason Botterill, who he just takes those swings, will continue to try. So he sounded, the reason I liked it and I thought it would help people kind of start looking ahead and be like, all right, what's next, is that it wasn't that kind of they'll need to figure it out. It was pretty confident that Botterill would keep taking swings.
Yeah.
Which I liked.
I do too. And I mean, he hasn't connected yet, but you don't get big hits without big swings.
Yeah. Let's see what I need to know. Catgate's the biggest must-follow story in Seattle right now. I don't know about that. I know we're all against stealing another person's cat, but what about the cat? He's practically two-timing his first family.
Cats have no loyalty.
No, none at all. Absolutely. If anyone knows anything about cats,
cats have zero loyalty.
None at all. Matt, I think you're a cat person. Not like you like cats, but you are a cat.
Your personality
Do you know what I'm
is
saying?
a cat?
Yeah. Do you like laying in the sun?
Yes.
Do you like napping?
Yes.
Do you like being alone?
Yes.
Do you like seafood?
No.
Do you like Irish goodbyes?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think Matt's a cat.
It. Yeah.
This is an awful revelation about myself.
Cat Nelson.
Catty. 866-979-3776. What I need to know. You got to create a restaurant and they said a few new ideas for the menu. Unconventional dishes. I already know what mine's going to be. What's yours?
We're doing drunk food.
Oh yeah, it's a hot dog with baked beans on it.
Yeah.
That's so good.
I was thinking just something crazy that you'd only put together at 2 a.m. and it's
where you're just
you're putting fish sticks on a tortilla and hot sauce on that, and it's yeah, sure.
Sorry, did you just put artichoke dip on a hot dog?
Yeah.
You just want to make sure. You did. Wyman and Bob coming up next.
Seattle Sports, home of Wyman and Bob.
Is Sam Darnold worth $55 million a year?
Afternoons 2 to 7.
I think he's worth it.
I do too.
That's going to be a low-sounding number here very quickly. He's not an ego guy who's going to be, let me cook, let me chuck it all over the yard.
I don't think he is going to think, hey, I deserve $55 million. I think he's willing to work for that. Similar results next year, then we'll start talking about that.
Watch live or later on the Seattle Sports YouTube channel.
Saving energy simplified. Snohomish PUD's Rebate Center is your one-stop hub for cash back on energy-efficient upgrades. From heat pump water heaters to all-in-one washer-dryer combos. Whether you're planning a project or already made an upgrade in the last 90 days, the Rebate Center helps you check eligibility, submit receipts, and track your rebate status all in one place. Visit snowpud.com/rebates.
Start having fun. Caesar Sportsbook at Muckleshoot Casino Resort is your #1 place to eat, drink, watch, and have fun. Keep up with your favorite sports anywhere and everywhere on property with the mobile app. Visit muckleshootcasino.com today. Scan the QR code and let the play begin.
Muckleshoot. I'm Bradley Johnson with 1-800-DUI-AWAY. Let's talk about summertime. Bikinis, the occasional Speedo, sunshine, and almost always more drinking. But don't let the wine coolers or hard lemonades fool you. Too many drinks at the beach can get you in a whole lot of trouble. You're sporting a farmer's tan, but the police are wearing heavy, dark uniforms. And it's not because they're comfortable. If you don't take preventative measures, your summer tan can become a costly burn. Take a designated driver with that aloe vera and SPF 50. Call 1-800-DUI-AWAY or go to 1-800-DUI-AWAY.com to set up a free private consultation. Jail is no place to ask, missed a spot? Mind getting where I can't reach? Be reasonable this summer. And always remember, 1-800-DUI-AWAY has your back.
1-800-DUI-AWAY! For over 50 years, Bucky's Complete Auto Repair has been the one locals trust for honest pricing, expert service, and guaranteed repairs. This dedication has earned them a Carfax Preferred designation. At Bucky's, every customer gets detailed Carfax updates, timely service reminders, and a full service history, all at your fingertips. With 16 family-owned locations, no appointment needed, and easy financing, Bucky's makes auto care simple. Visit Bucky's.com today and drive with confidence. Bucky's.com.
Hey there, Dawn Riling from Olympic Hot Tub with exciting news. Our mid-year clearance event is on. You'll score big savings on all in-stock saltwater hot tubs and fabulous saunas. Plus, deep discounts on newly released floor model swim spas. These deals are incredible. But don't wait. Our mid-year clearance ends June 30th. OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
Olympic Hot Tub.
Are you looking for the best deal on a new home? Discover the D.R. Horton Home of the Week. With new home communities from Lacey to Stanwood, ranging from the low 500s to the high 1 millions. D.R. Horton has the right home at the best value for you. Your new home is within reach, so what are you waiting for? Learn more about the D.R. Horton Home of the Week. Visit drhorton.com and schedule a tour today. D.R. Horton, America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder.
Our number one thing with them is always like, hey, welcome someone in and assure them that they're in the right place. We're going to take care of them.
Lee Johnson Auto Family, the LJ way.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-330-8323 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-330-8323. That's 800-330-8323. What do you have to lose? Call 800-330-8323. Again, 800-330-8323.
Explore the American Supercar and British Motorcycle exhibits at LeMay, America's Car Museum. Coming up in July, First Responders Appreciation Day, Drive-In Movie Night, Cars and Coffee, Cruise